Okay, there we go. Why am I not? See, I don't. Okay. So might be okay. I think it's my headphones. It's something to my ears. That's the problem.
Are you using a different pair of headphones than you normally use?
No, I still really believe. No, fuck. There is an issue that's happened. I do not know where it is. I don't.
So, Kevin, what's next?
Funny enough, I just finished a bag of kettle crinkle cut pickle flavored potato chips. So I am kind of like, letting it rock. I'm just going lean and mean. Just got my water and my podcast Pepsi.
So I think I might have solved the problem.
Okay.
We had a little visit from a hot dog truck today, and but the chips that they served were not correct. You know how you just go to places and they have like chips you can have, but then you bite into them. It's like now the expiration date's like not in 2 months from now, but for some reason these taste like they've just been left on the table for a month
with the bag open, but then sealed.
Like that's what it feels like. That's how it tasted. I was just kind of like, something. I actually have some of these chips upstairs. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I immediately threw those. I immediately threw those away and just had. I mean, like it was exactly these chips. I was just like, something. We don't have to suffer. We don't. This is not what the Lord called. This isn't the life that the Lord called me to.
Ooh.
No. But like we have chips. We're good.
So hello, hi. It is another episode of Tech Talk Thursdays. Sorry for the lack of enthusiasm, but just
today in Tech gets on my last nerve talk Thursdays.
Thank you. I am one of your hosts, Marcus Major Lennox Summers. Of course, I'm joined this week and every week by it's your boy Kev. Kev is in the building.
In the building. Hard shrugs.
Wow.
It hurts. It just hurts. I am joined this week, fresh off of vacation. But since in the building.
And salutations, good people of the internet. It's a time to be back. I was gonna say it's a good time to be back, but the struggle today has been
it's a time
real and thorough.
Yeah, it's just a time.
The enemy has been busy.
Very much so. And I am the enemy.
The enemy is within.
The way in which I do not want to be a copycat, I want to be a trailblazer, and tech will not let me be great.
Yes,
listen, at this point, here's the thing. The best of the pioneering and stuff that happens in the tech space happens on the bones of things that already exist. Sometimes the wheel just works.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the wheel just works. It just works. It's fine.
You don't got to be the first. You could be the third.
So what you're saying is I should just be Apple and just copy everybody else and slap it on and say, yep, this is magical. This is the best first time it's ever happened. Nobody is doing it like we're doing it. Wait, also this just sounds like
I'm not telling you to be I'm not telling you to be a colonizer. Give people appropriate credit for things, but be like,
so literally every other video podcast ever for pioneering we're gonna just shrink in the video windows to the size that we need it and not have a very bespoke solution that not many people use and would make me feel like a fucking genius.
You know something, Major? Technology is a wonderful tool. It is terrible for validation purposes. I am going to leave that right there because I am not a licensed mental health professional. I'm not. But I'm not licensed, but I have like enough experience to just be like, Homie, you can just be great doing the basics. You can. I promise. Muhammad Ali would agree. So would Mike Tyson. You can be great doing the basics. You can. I promise you can.
Yep.
Okay,
Sometimes
so-
you just got to be Leon Spanks. That's all you got to be.
I don't even know who that is. Who is it?
You don't have to be. You don't got to be Tyson. You don't got to be Muhammad Ali. Sometimes you could just be a Buster Douglas and have a good time.
All of
being
these people
Buster
are boxers,
Douglas.
Major.
Yeah, I
All of them.
looked.
Yeah.
I looked at it. Got it. So for those who do not know why this is happening,
Happening is because this whole stream is chaos from start to finish. I don't know why you're acting new about this.
fine. Yes, that's the general theme of this show. Sure, but for those who may not have been keeping up for the past few weeks, I've been looking for a replacement to Skype and have gone through a myriad of options. I'm sorry. What now?
Keep going. Nothing.
What you got to no.
I feel like Major
said
should just get on like Twitter on main and just be like, hey, if you do audio and video production, I would like to have a word.
And I've
part.
done that and nobody's
Call back.
responded. So you know,
Where did this happen? Because I'm on your timeline and I didn't see that. Where was that?
I tweet at all times of day and night. I do.
You just might as well just make you a stream stream deck button and just like press it every now and again. Yeah.
Well,
like,
look, I mean, I
like
just,
a Good Morning a World or 11:11 and just keep at it.
I'll do it if
Help.
this then that like I do for the podcast. So look, hey, if you have audio experience with OBS, please let me know. I need help.
Yep. That part.
Just a standing noon call for help.
Someone please
Schedule it.
clip. Someone clip this.
Clip this. Somebody clip this. For
Fine.
posterity.
It is clipped.
Yep.
But yeah, so I'm making just long story short, I am making things difficult for myself and then throwing the temper tantrum when it doesn't work. And then we'll throw another temper tantrum when somebody tells me, hey, do the simple thing, and I don't want to do the simple thing because I'm a glutton for punishment. And then throw yet another temper tantrum when everybody just gives up and says, you know what, fuck it, do whatever you want.
Interesting. Remarkable. Don't know how to stop that loop of things. Wish I
Nope,
could figure that out.
don't. We don't do things because we're easy. We do it because it's hard. I think that's the only presidential quote that I can actually memorize very well. Other than like 4-7 years ago. And that's it.
Yep. Be like, it's like that thing. It's like that thing that we see 11 times where it's like the United States created a pen that writes upside down and writes it upside down and underwater for space, and the
Pencil.
Russians use a pencil.
Yep. Yep.
Use a pencil, Major. Use a pencil.
Nah, I want the pen. And I want the bikini to come off too. Remember when that was like all the fucking rage back then? You had the pencil you turn upside down and the shit happens like with the little liquid and shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yes, welcome everybody to another episode of Tech Talk Thursdays for September 1st, 2022. I know my niece is not listening to the show because how? But happy birthday.
If you are related to, listen, if you're related to Major and you're listening to this show and he's not wishing you a happy birthday, please call him.
Please, because I probably forgot. But I did
ask
call
him
her.
if he's okay.
But I did call her. I did call her today. She turned 6 today. I did call her. So, yeah. If she is listening, happy birthday. I hope the tub of butter tasted good. I don't know. When I called her on FaceTime, she was eating butter out of the butter dish at a restaurant. And I was like, why? And I asked my sister, why are you letting your daughter do this? She was like, why are you coming for my daughter on her birthday? She wants to eat butter. She can eat butter. Like, okay.
You know something? Good on her.
Yeah.
Good on her. I feel
I
like I feel like you know something
I had no
on your
argument for that.
birthday.
I had no argument
On your
for
birthday,
that.
yeah.
Do you? No argument. They didn't want the pencil lead ending up in the critical components if it broke off up there, if I recall. See, there's a reason for a bespoke solution to a seemingly easy problem.
Major no. How was your week?
It was pretty good, actually. Did a retro gaming convention over the weekend for actually the first time we've did a convention in 3 years. So it's pretty good to be back. Talked to some people, trying to get some plans started, trying to get a convention off the ground ourselves. So hoping to.
If you're going to try to like ramp things up to have a convention, might I suggest you reading People Powered by Jono Bacon?
Okay. You get to send me a link to that. Put that somewhere so I can find it. I'll forget by the end of this.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see here. There's been work. I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but my wife and I started doing some door dashing. And I went Sunday. I did my first dashing session or whatever the fuck they want to call it. Actually, they call them dashes. Like this section of times you block off this, it's called a dash, apparently. But I did my first session Sunday, and surprisingly, it is very relaxing if you just want to get in a car and drive and do a menial task for several hours.
Okay.
And, you know, you get paid to do it. That was the afterthought. For me, it was like, and I think, Kev, you and I talked about like with Death Stranding, like we just want a delivery simulator. Fuck shooting things, fuck hiding things. For me, like that's what I want. I want to do just like a bare menial task. And it was like combining the delivery part of Death Stranding to whenever my wife tells me when I'm not feeling okay, hey, you should go for a drive. And I tell her I have nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
DoorDash gives me a place to go.
Yes.
And it gives me another place to go.
Yes.
And it's like I'm only in a place for like 2, maybe 5 minutes before I'm somewhere else. And I'm just like in my car, listening to music by myself. And like, oh my God, it was the best.
Mm-hmm.
It was a way where I felt compelled to do more door dashing just to be in a car. Instead of like, oh no, I need money.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt good. But of course, like then it came that conversation. Well, why am I doing this? I don't need money. What if I'm taking money away from people who need it? And it's like the one thing that kind of helped put it in perspective was there was one dash I was doing, one delivery I was doing, where there was a woman on oxygen. She lived out in the cut. So it's like, it's not like she could easily go out and get the food. So it's like, I feel like I'm kind of doing that. Great. This is not making me seem like I am the hero from the beginning of the pandemic, where people were volunteering to do this. Like going to get groceries for people who couldn't go to the grocery stores for fear of getting sick. But it's still that thing of like, there are still people who are shut in their, like they're like shut-ins in their homes who can't easily get out and rely on food services to do this. So kind of being a person who's like, all right, well, I mean, sure, they paid me to do this, but I'm still like going out and getting food for people who couldn't go and do it themselves. And that kind of helped me feel better about the situation. Also the fact that I talked to somebody and they're like, oh yeah, on Sunday, so you can easily make $120. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not in here for that. But you know, good for you.
Mm-hmm.
Good for you. I'm glad that's what you want to do. You're going to be out here for a minute to get it. But I mean, if that makes you happy, if the promise of money brings you that joy, fine, do whatever. Honestly,
Listen,
just me being in my
some people just need that bespoke financial solution.
Yeah, I guess I need a bespoke depressant solution. Just put
Mhm.
me in a car, let me drive, and just listen to good music. Maybe I'm thinking next time I go out, I might put on a podcast, because the one thing I kept running into is like I'm just changing music trying to find that one song, and that kind of got annoying. But even after all of that, it was like, you know what? I want to do that again. Or figuring out like tech that can go with it. Because for me, like I use 2 phones to actually do DoorDash. One that I use like for my navigation on my CarPlay, and then I use my Android phone to actually do the dashing part, to answer the notifications, figure out where I need to go, what I'm picking up. It's made it a little bit easier for me. That way I wouldn't have to kind of switch in between apps and stuff. Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like because I've been working from home, I've not really listened to a podcast in like since fucking March. So I know I'm like either behind, or it's just that, they're just piling up on my phone. So it would be nice to kind of go in and maybe listen to a podcast, like listen to some Office Ladies or something. Or maybe actually listen to a good gaming podcast, because everything, like I have video versions of these podcasts on my Plex server, but I am 2 months behind at best. So everything I'm watching on it is like, oh yeah, you hear about this Steam Deck? Yeah, like when the Steam Deck comes, it's going to be revolutionary. Granted, I'm further along than there are people who actually have Steam Decks. It's like I'm like in July on Plex, but it's now September. Oh boy, what is this? Hi, this is DoorDash connecting you to your Dasher for updates about your order. You enjoy the food, man. You look scrumptious in those. But wow, yeah, no. Like my whole thing is I do not want to see people. I am hungry. Your food, what gone? Nah, no. That is for sure not gonna be me. But yeah, I mean, it's been fun. I've enjoyed it. Let's see what else has been going on. That's pretty much been it. Nothing else really special going on. Just chilling. Kev, how's your week been?
Not bad. Just I think I'm knocking on a lot of wood, but I think I got my driver situation taken care of. So I had to use DDU, and well, first off, I have just started like Guardians of the Galaxy, so that was great. So I think I played a little bit on Friday and was like, damn, this is actually pretty good. Had everything on high, very high. Everything was looking great. Frames were framing. The lighting was good. Everything was good. And Saturday was good. I think we played sometime on Monday, and I think that's when I was having the issues. I think like Monday or Tuesday when I was having the issues. It was crashing on me. I think during like the Lady Hellbender stuff. And so I was like, let me go ahead and solve this problem and figure this thing out now. So I did that, and we finished the Lady Hellbender stuff. We played, I think, some of the Nova Corps mission. That everything was good. Everything was smooth. We had no problems. We did 2 Point Campus. That seemed for like 2 hours on Tuesday. That seemed to be fine. So everything's been good. Ooblets came 1.0 today, so I was very happy about that. Played that for almost 3 hours, and yeah, been pretty chill. My sinuses are in revolt because I mowed the yard because I am allergic to grass. And yeah, now I'm gonna have to figure out. I might have to partially break up with AT&T, because AT&T on some bullshit when it comes to television again.
And you're just like, we're gonna have to do a little bit less there, buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a little bit of restructuring. Yeah, less TV, and probably go to maybe I don't want to go satellite because satellite's weird. But if we do have to go to satellite again, then it is what it is. But satellite is not really ideal, So I probably have to go to local cable and just do local cable on the cheap if possible, and then just probably local cable, maybe Verizon Fios if it's in my area. But yeah, it's not really ideal, but we gotta go what we gotta go with. So yeah, it is what it is, and that's been my week.
When
All
you had
praise
mentioned
DDU.
when you had mentioned driver, for some reason my brain went everywhere other than actual graphics driver. I started thinking about a driver's license. Then for some reason driver, like driver San Francisco.
On PS and PlayStation 2.
And then like a driver as in like Uber driver. And then I came back to actual display driver, like computer driver.
Well, I mean, you did just finish talking about DoorDash, so.
I mean, yeah, there is that, I guess.
Agreed. Glorious Oak. Yes. Storm. All praise DDU. Open source. Open source does it again.
Wow. Glad to hear, because I was about to send you 1,000 watt PSG.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean, if you want.
And of course, I looked on Discord and saw not only a book link, but also a comment that Sin made, and that's now sent me down another spiral. But while I take a look at that, Sin, how was your 2 weeks?
So, the first week y'all know about because I was here. There was the apparition in the background. Well, I spent the following week not being here because I was spending time with the apparition in the background. Otherwise known as my girlfriend, my partner, the various interchangeable ways I will refer to her, was spent here just enjoying quiet time and going to the park and ordering in and watching anime, and then her crying at the airport when she finally had to fly back home. It was an adorable time. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
And with his boo love.
Okay, I was wondering what this was for a second. Because I'm like, is
Kev reacting to characters express?
Yeah, I was like, is Kev reacting to Sin?
I'm having a literal ooh moment.
Okay, so it's like I'm like, is Kev reacting to Sin? Is he reacting to the fact that I am showing interest in a 30 terabyte SSD? Or did he drink something cold and he's now just like he had like a toothache? Like what's happening?
What's happening is that Kevin is listening and having a response.
I'm having a response to Sin's boo love, and I'm like, oh, I'm having an ooh woo moment.
The link from before. Oh, the link I was talking about that Sin posted? No. Sin will never, I don't know. I can't speak for Sin, but I doubt he'll ever send me very large storage things. If it's a story or if it's a link to an Amazon or a Newegg item, I don't think he will do that to me. I don't think. No. Now, I don't know.
I mean, I would if you said you were looking for one, but most of the time I am also aware that you were looking for things that you don't need most of the time. So I'm going to leave that part alone. The other thing that I did while I was gone was I took my 3rd sign language class. So as some of y'all may be aware, if you've been to my streams or what have you, I've been talking about little incremental process that I've been going through with trying to learn some ASL because I have a nephew who is somewhat not verbal. I'm not sure what's happening there without asking, but I did notice when we have family gatherings, he prefers to gesture at things and point at them rather than talk most of the time. So I decided I was going to try to learn some ASL so he would have a way to communicate with me and I would have a way to communicate with him without, like beyond just pointing at things and kind of like suggesting things like, I would like water or I would like a cookie. So far, we have learned how to count to 100. I've learned how to tell people where I live, where I grew up, how old I am. And the next lesson, I think, is for job profession. So I will be able to tell people what my job occupation is. I also found out this state has a sign that's really easy to spell. New York has a sign that feels like a Metro card. And Georgia is just the 2 letters. Everything else is like 4 letters or something a little bit more like, but why did you do that? Oh, I could also tell people that I'm learning sign language, but I'm a hearing person as opposed to deaf or hard of hearing. So there you go. That's kind of the gamut of what we learned there. There have been a handful of tabletop streams that I've been in. We did our first tabletop stream based on Final Fantasy Tactics for those of you who are fans of that game on Monday. That went really well. Ooh. And now we have, and this is also my first week back from vacation, and my manager said she almost cried from joy when I came back when I like reported in for work, because I was like, hey, here's a list of things that I did before I left on vacation. I don't think you saw those. And she was like, I didn't know that you made this. So good news there. Frustrations though. So as y'all may know, from being here or elsewhere that you've seen me, I have recently moved. So one of the things that I had on this list of just being like things I want to do in the first couple of months that I live here was getting cleaning supplies, getting things settled with my cat, and then trying to figure out how to handle stuff with like registrations and IDs and stuff so that when voting things come up, I can do those things. That was supposed to be this month. However, my job asked me to come into the office, and that was going to be a drive, so I had to rent a car for that, which would have been fine, except for when I went there, they were just like, you have an out-of-state license, so we can't do that unless you have a credit card. And I am an American that does not have a credit card, which means that you will go to a place and they will just be like, we will not rent you stuff or lend you stuff, even if you had the cash on hand to do that, because we have to have credit cards. So I'm going to have to go and get a North Carolina license before I can rent a car just to drive back to the state that I already have a license for.
Wow.
For some reason, I thought you already owned a car, though.
I don't. Oh, that's another thing I found out. Y'all, even if you don't have a car, have to have insurance to get a license here.
Oh, yeah. Because if you hit me with anything, I want you. Somebody gonna have to pay for this.
No, I mean, if I hit you, I'm gonna be in a rented car, and that has a damage waiver. But
somebody needs to cover the damage to my car.
Oh, they do, but it's not me. It's Enterprise. But never mind.
I don't care if it's you, Enterprise. I don't care. Somebody gonna pay me.
Yeah, Enterprise.
So I'm going to put Major in a box over here that says Major likes to be paid when accidents happen to his devices, including his car. Yep. But also, just trying to get that wrinkled means I'm going to have to speed things up a little bit. So I asked them when appointments are. I went to a not actually made by the state, but by a third-party website that tells you all the requirements.
Oh, yeah, you got to be careful about that.
Like, I haven't submitted any information except for like an area code or whatever, but it's kind of like, this is a mess. This whole thing is a mess. So we're going to try to figure that out. We're going to see what's happening. And I also finished 2 books. One of them was on community building. That is the one that Major has a link for in our group DM. And the other one was the book on tidying by Marie Kondo, because of course I would read a book on tidying things by Marie Kondo. And
is this the brings you joy thing?
Mm-hmm. Just things about like how she thinks about these things and why. And then the other book was just on like community building, and why I recommend it to you was that the last couple of chapters I had were how to like a process for starting your own like large events or conventions. And it starts with, hey, if you're relatively small, you want to start doing these things and then build to here, and these are what each of those steps should look like, in a way that you can like figure out how to act on without telling you every single minor detail, which that book is really good at doing. So if you're into things that involve like community building or organizing or things like that around like events or products and services and things like that, it's a really good book. Do recommend it. And that book I bought for like $15 or some change, but I happened to go to the House of Bezos and found out that it is currently on sale for $4.23. You can go in and just grab that today.
Oh, and it's a free audiobook. Oh, free
So?
with an Audible trial. But I can get it on Kindle for $3.
So have at it. Listen, I said the House of Bezos because listen, we just have to be honest about the suffering that we're in. I had to go to the House of Bezos to get that book.
Y'all know bacon sounds familiar.
And yeah, that's it. That's everything that is everything that has happened for the most part in the last 2 weeks. Oh, I am also going to say, if I learn more terms, I am just going to start randomly signing them just for the sake of practice. But at absolutely no point, other than telling y'all that I'm in North Carolina, are you going to see me sign anything.
Nice if I had like some OCR that could read that and just like print it out somewhere. But no, I want
that can print out what?
Or they just like recognize that ASL is happening somewhere, and will they just print out the words?
Okay, well, good luck with that, because a lot like every other language, dialects and regions.
Oh, I'm gonna find the blackest one I can find.
Okay, fair enough.
But yet, saying that also means that if somebody did create that, which I'm pretty sure it does exist, it will not be black at all.
Oh, well, actually, I will tell you a thing. If you do want to do the history on it, there is like black ASL.
Oh, I know.
That's a whole thing.
It was like a couple of days where that was all the TikTok. It was a good chunk of TikTok videos that were coming through saying stuff about black ASL.
I guess fun small story about that before we get on with the show. I had a friend come over and they were talking on the phone, but they actually know a little bit of ASL. So I was folding laundry and they were talking on the phone, and I had just explained to them that I had learned like a handful of things. So like finger spelling and how to ask questions was the most recent chapter. And so we're on the phone and they're like talking and I'm looking at them confused. Then I'm just like, wait, who is this? And they're spelling out the name of the person that they're talking to. And it's just like, this is nice. The glories of sign language, being able to talk while you're talking to other people out loud because you don't have to use words. And 2, you can also talk with your mouth full. Okay, so what's on the list? What do we got up here?
All right, for this week, we've got a whole bunch of social media news. Twitter is in the news. I mean, of course, for the lawsuit, but hey, they're dropping features which you may or may not be interested in. Let's see. Apple is in the news for a couple of iPhone stories. And the rumored device worked on between Logitech and Tencent got leaked. And those are just random things I chose because I don't remember what's on the list. But those stories and many more coming up soon. But of course, we are going to start off with the Twitters. And a blank screen because we were playing video games. And of course, every time when I turn on that screen, it's always the wrong one. Excuse me. All right. Also, shout out to OBS, like giving me the dimensions or like the pixel measurements away from a border for a particular window that's selected. I don't know if that was a thing in the old OBS, but OBS 28 is interesting. We'll get into that in a bit too. But anywho, Twitter launches Twitter Circle for sharing tweets with a smaller number of people. The feature have been in testing since May and allows users to create a custom group with up to 150 accounts and share tweets with only those users rather than publicly.
This feels a lot like Path, but continue.
Path is...
I'll tell you about that later. It's
that's it. That's it for the article.
Path was like a minor social media platform that was specifically for mobile devices, and its whole thing was trying to have like a limit to the amount of friends that you had, because it was like, hey, you can't have relationships with thousands of people. So they had a cap to the amount of friends that you had. At first it was 50, and it got expanded specifically to 150. And it was one of those, you can only talk to, like, these are the people that you interact with, and these are the people who can interact with you or whatever. And it kept those circles kind of separate. It was interesting.
Okay.
But it never got out past the mobile platform, and it only lasted for like a handful of years. I don't know if the company just ended or if it got purchased, though. I can't remember that offhand.
Gotcha. Yeah, this is almost like what, like the close friends feature in Instagram, or Google Plus circles. Remember that?
Remember Google Wave?
Remember Google Reader?
Remember Orkut? Anyway,
so many Google products cut down in their product.
So, how do I say this? As a feature, I don't have a problem with circles as just like a general product thing, but there's this thing, and it's something that we say a lot around here. It's something that you're seeing people say a lot on the internet too, when it comes to things. A lot of this is, also part of a thing that people have where there's like, I wish I had a way on main to be able to say what I want to the group of people that I want to, and it not be able to escape from the people that I have as mutuals, whatever else. I might have thousands of people following me, but I might have 30 people that I follow. I only want to talk to them about certain things. And it's something that kind of harkens to a whole bunch of other traditions when it comes to social media and technology and all this other stuff. But I'm very much in the frame of, I know that y'all want to be able to just shout into the void on main to a certain group of people. But once again, can I just suggest to y'all, make a group message or a DM or something like that, or find ways to communicate with each other in like a more healthy manner. I don't know if you just if what would be best here is, hey, you can now take the social media platform and make a circle within a circle of that platform.
I mean, it's, again, like Facebook, they're trying to find a way to make sure people stay on that platform as long as possible so that they can be made money off of. If people are moving off the platform, then what's the use of even creating it if we're not keeping people there?
I mean, I suppose so, but also, and I'm going to keep this here because I have like an imaginary ticking timer. You can't see it, but it's up here on my screen. There are some things about technology that when we talk about them, there is the aspect of businesses are in the business of keeping people on their platform, interacting with their platform as long as possible, for as many clicks as possible, and as much reaction and everything else as possible. I think everybody on the cast and everybody here on the show knows that about most things, unless it's a nonprofit company, and even then also for nonprofit companies. But there is an element of these things that when I talk about them, I also talk about them from the standpoint of not just the companies that are involved, but the humans who are impacted by them. And when you hear me say things like, I don't know if this is a good idea, it's definitely going to be a good idea business-wise, because now people are just like, oh, I can make these circles and I can like have like the circles within the circles that I've wanted to have for years. Now I don't have to pick up another platform for that. I don't have to have another account for that. I don't have to take that to Discord or Group DM or something like that. But there is a part of me on the side of human social interactions that I'm just like, I don't know if this is a good idea. We'll see how it shakes out in the future. But also, if you follow gaming Twitter or streamer Twitter, get your popcorn ready. Y'all got 6 months, tops, before the Twitlongers come out with screenshots from things that were only posted in circles and not in public. I guarantee you that's going to be over here. So y'all can go ahead and count down the amount of months. And if it's sooner than 6, I want to say I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't. If it's longer than 6, I would be, before that happens, and we have to talk about that on the show.
TwitchCon's right around the corner. PAX is right around the corner.
Like, I think PAX is this month and TwitchCon is next month. DragonCon is this weekend. Like, it's about to be mess. It's about to be mess.
Yeah.
Because there are a couple of things here, and this is also why I think about this when it comes to social interactions. There are things that I know that I'm sensitive about a lot of things. I'm probably more sensitive than most, and I understand that, but there are things I can comfortably say to Kevin and to Major and to the people that I'm close to that I wouldn't necessarily say at a public venue, not because they're bad, but because I know that people are guaranteed to take the most extreme reactionary response possible, no matter what it is that I say. And someone is going to take Twitter circles, and when they decide that they want to be messy, will do some nonsense like that and expose things that are said in a circle where everyone has an understanding of things to people who don't have context or stuff, and just be like, I can't believe that this was said. And it's all going to be right there on the platform. So it's a mess. It's a mess, and it's somewhat unnecessary.
So considering how few users make a majority of tweets, Circle seems like a facade to say Twitter has been working on something that's already done better elsewhere. And again, like, that's my whole thing. Like, I wish that these companies would just do the one thing that they set out to do and continue to work on that and make it perfect. Stop trying to be everybody else. Stop trying to take everybody else's users. We all use these different apps to serve different purposes. Let me do this.
Especially because, like, y'all, we saw what happened with fleets. It was unnecessary. We had TikTok and Instagram to cover all that stuff. We didn't need that. And half of y'all don't want to talk about it, but I know that y'all have those premium snaps. It's all right. We know they're out there. Y'all good? You know what? Let me leave this alone.
It was like, fleets was, like, at the time was decent enough, and it was like, I think my first fleet was like, why is this the thing? Like, to basically make
I'm pretty sure that was a lot of, I think that was a lot of people's first fleet. Why?
Yeah, like, why is this the thing? And then after time, you know, it was like, oh, this ain't bad. You know, it ain't bad. Not necessary, but not bad.
There was, I feel like, you know, something thinking about this, Twitter Circle seems like a text version of Spaces. Like, between fleets, Spaces, and voice memos, and the one feature that I've been praying that God would just send the apocalypse before it happens, but Twitter is already put that out, and Major's going to talk about that later, and I hate it for all of us.
Yeah.
Did I include that one?
Yeah, you did.
Oh boy,
you did.
Do we, like, you know something? We can just go ahead and talk about. We can just roll right into that feature while we're here.
Oh, the edit button. I thought we were talking about podcasts.
No. I was talking about the edit button. Twitter straight up was just kind of like, y'all will be like, we put it out there, y'all gonna be all right, and I'm like.
Speaking of which, like, it's not on here. It was supposed to be on here last week before I realized that it was a third place. But yes, Twitter's also thinking about becoming a podcasting platform. Just putting that out.
You know something? You want to know what? The only thing I'm going to say is that only mildly makes sense because it would just be an extension of what they did with Spaces. Because once they acquired Periscope, it was over.
Yeah, I think that's. I think Spaces and. Yeah, I think that Spaces was like the natural progression to them starting to go into podcasting. Like, once you can save that recording, or once you can record that live stream, yeah, it was a wrap.
Yeah.
Because basically they have the equivalent of Instagram stories now, and that would be ideal for a podcast like this because you can just have a room full of people who can listen to you. It can be any amount of people. Everyone can see it while it's happening live, and they're just scrolling. So,
Yeah.
Twitter is now testing its highly requested edit tweet feature. After years of memes and jokes, editable tweets will be available to some Twitter Blue subscribers later this month. The feature is currently undergoing internal testing and appears to mimic Facebook in its edit style with a linked edit history for tweets that we saw leaks earlier this year. Tweets will be able to be edited a few times in the 30 minutes following their publication, according to a Twitter blog post. Edited tweets will appear with an icon, timestamp, and label, so it's clear to readers that the original tweet has been modified. But wait, so it is coming with a history.
that was something that they were mentioning before. Like, hey, we'll have an edit history where you can see what was being said. And I'm just like, you sure about this? But also, looking at this edit feature, oh God, what was it that I was thinking about with the edit feature? I feel like it's going to end up being like that upvote, downvote thing that they put out for like a handful of people. And then they went, whoop, and took it right back.
Grand opening, grand closing.
Let's see here. Yeah, it would be nice if they showed an example of the edit history. That's the part that would make this okay for me. Is if I can see the history, like what did this tweet say before it was edited?
Edit history. That would be nice.
Yeah, I would not pay for edits either. The one thing, again, and I will say this over and over and over and over again, the one thing I will pay for is getting rid of the fucking ads on Twitter. If you need the money that bad, I will gladly pay for Twitter Blue to get rid of the fucking ads.
Mm-hmm. With pro features.
Tweet that.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
In more news, researchers caught a pro-U.S. campaign spreading propaganda on social media. Go figure.
In water is wet news.
Like, I feel like the last 6 years, at the minimum, should do that. But just like any amount of history, y'all should already know, if you're aware of like anything happening, that there's constant like information in print, in television, and whatever else that like pushes like kind of propaganda about all sorts of things. So like, is this surprising to people? No. But the way that I am prepared for people to be like shook at the numbers, and I'm just like, how? Like, we're reading this article in a time that follows after a month of people being like, hey, Facebook, the US government would like to have a word about your impact on democracy. How is this news that we're writing in 2022? Child, in September of all times. Like, you were at the end of August, early September. The way that y'all are late.
Well, the thing is
like,
that it's not necessarily the U.S. putting propaganda in the U.S. It's the U.S. putting propaganda in other countries like the Ukraine, Russia, and China.
See me drawing this square of like, this is like me with a little circle and an arrow at the end that says and exactly what I said.
Stands. Water is wet.
Child, we're out here like, do y'all remember when here, let me go ahead and put it like this, right? All these people who are shook reading this article didn't look at the thing where we did like 6 days in what was the name of the country? 6 days in, the country starts with an F. It was
Fallujah. That's a city in Iraq. if I'm not,
6
or
days in
Afghanistan. One of those two.
Child, we have games like 6 Days of Fallujah just floating around in existence, and y'all thought this was news.
Well, it's one thing to sell patriotism to America. It's another thing where it's like, again, so all right, let's go to a recent report from social network analyst firm Graphica and the Stanford Internet Observatory has uncovered a series of operations, some covert and some less so, that aim to promote pro-Western narratives in countries like Russia, China, Afghanistan, and Iran. So it's one thing to have like 6 Days in Fallujah or America's Army, where it is so America, fuck yeah. But this is like, I guess it's like the U.S. government posing as somebody else, taking out ads on social media, kind of saying like, yeah, Ukraine and other country are good. We should all be good together, and Western ideals are great, type of thing.
This is me voguing as we repeat the exact same thing. Girl, we knew that these people were posing as people from other countries to post propaganda here. And doing all that stuff too. Here's the thing. A lot of this, the articles that are here feel frustrating to me when they say things like this. Like, we haven't also been exposed to tons and tons of things just going like, hey, these countries are also doing cyber attacks for misinformation and or hacking things at the same time, where they are pretending to be whole other people, whole other agencies. They have adapted all of this. They have adapted these languages and these behaviors and all this other stuff. Like, we know that is happening globally. And we've had that told to us for multiple years by people who are just like, we kind of need to highlight this. And so, like, to have this is like, who is this not clicking for? I feel like they're the people who would say Marvel isn't political. You know what? Let me open this other bag of chips.
It screams the tweet that I retweeted today. There's a little comic about Gamergate Dad. Congratulations, sir. It's a girl. Great, you've made my child political. Like, what?
Today in my updated bullet journal, because
in other news, police. Oh wait, in another article, in another segment of water is wet news. Police secretly use smartphone location data culled from Waze, Starbucks, and other popular apps. I don't know why I just wanted to state the obvious this week. But
no, I feel like that part isn't necessarily like the most obvious. Although, and you want to know what's sad is that I know that a lot of people who use Waze use it because Waze is the best one about telling you there's a police officer right over there if you want to avoid that. Waze was one of those apps that when it first came out was exceptionally good about that, and that's why so many people picked it up. And then I was just kind of like, I don't know about this, and I got another phone and I never reinstalled it.
But yeah,
Ruin knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, but it's also that thing too. Is like, yeah, if I could see them, I have a feeling they can see me too.
Because if the whole thing is to get you to slow down for reasons, everybody wins. I feel, if it's like, hey, you might want to slow down if you don't want to get pulled over by the police. Oh. So that means people know where the cops are. They drive safer. They drive calmer. Oh, we slow down. They drive calmer. They drive safer.
Let's see. Billions of location records from some 250 million phones were searched by more than 20 U.S. government agencies after the private data was purchased from a company called Fog Data Science. So secretive.
How are you calling How are y'all calling each other fug data science when you're not obscuring anything? I need the math to math here.
Mm-hmm.
So secretive was its use that it wasn't even revealed to defense attorneys or judges in cases in which it played a key role, something lawyers say threatens the fairness of the judicial process. Coming from the Associated Press, police have used quote-unquote fog reveal to search hundreds of billions of records from 250 million mobile devices and harness the data to create location analyses known among law enforcement as patterns of life, according to thousands of pages of records about the company. Excuse me. The company was developed. That's a weird sentence. The company was developed by two former high-ranking Department of Homeland Security officials under ex-President George W. Bush. It relies on advertising identification numbers, which FOG officials say are culled from popular cell phone apps such as Waze, Starbucks, and hundreds of others that target ads based on a person's movements and interests, according to police emails. That information is then sold to companies like FOG. What distinguishes FOG Reveal from other cell phone location techniques or technologies used by police is that it follows the devices through their advertising IDs, unique numbers assigned to each device. These numbers do not contain the name of the phone's user, but can be traced to homes and workplaces to help police establish pattern of life analysis. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, turn off location.
We tried to tell y'all from back in them Prism days, just because it is just metadata, it only takes but so much before they can find out who the fuck you are. There, I did the calf shrug. Except I can't put my arms this close. It kind of hurts.
Because Storm said this, I saw something on Instagram and I did go to check it out, and it's funny. And funny weird. Not funny haha. That if you use the only send my location on your iPhone, only send my location while I'm using the app, there is a feature within that feature for how accurate that data is.
Yeah, it's like approximate and precise.
Yup, and apparently the precise is enabled by default. This is a thing I did not know. So I saw that and I'm just like, hold on. Before I go like retweeting or reblogging or whatever else, let me go see if that's a thing. And I'm just like, well, there it is. Mm-hmm. Luckily, I don't go anywhere. Luckily, I don't go nowhere, or I don't really care about that. But I'm just like, no.
And the thing is, like, yeah, you can turn off location services. It just means that it won't use your GPS, but it will definitely triangulate your position based off of cell towers.
Which, for the most part, I'm just like, I don't care, because if I'm going somewhere where I don't need y'all to know things, I'm just turning off the phone. I'm not even taking the phone, probably, if I really don't want y'all to know. So good luck finding me. Y'all are going to triangulate this thing to the chef's island in my house.
Yeah, I have 3 cell phones. Good luck with that.
You know what? They're all going to you know what? What's up to call? Not even 30 burner phones. They're all going to be like those Nokia track phones.
Nope, they're good. Look, again, it is an iPhone 12 Pro, a Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus, and an Pixel 6a. They're really good phones.
I'm responding to Ruin, who said buy 30 burner phones. I said I'm going to make them. They're all about to be Nokia track phones. I'm just going to be like using them to make one call a piece and then throwing them somewhere.
Yeah, we're going to be like doodaloo, doodaloo, and I'm like, that's it. I'm going to be like white collar with all those like burner phones.
Surprisingly, I will tell you, of course, I feel like everybody here is aware of these things, right? But Storm is pointing out some stuff that I learned from looking up things on Redacted and Redacted, where like people would just be like, hey, if you happen to decide that you are seeing things happening and you would like to take direct action, things like protest or be involved in that way, here's a list of things that you don't do. Also, here's a list of programs that people use to remove this kind of data from anything because of these reasons. And it's just like, yo. Listen, we only do redacted here. Because, listen, we cannot be caught lacking in these streets. We're in Virgo season. You can't be caught lacking in Virgo season.
Shit, I left my iPhone somewhere because I know on my iPhone it will show a whole bunch of data for photos that I've taken.
In not really creepy as hell news, I found out that there is a very interesting use of the shortcuts feature. Again, because Instagram likes to serve me things where people do random stuff. So the shortcuts application lets you set up automations for things. And the thing is that someone posted was, I can't believe y'all didn't tell me that you could just make the phone talk to you whenever you decide to do like it has a list of stuff, but they were talking about specifically when you plug the phone in to charge it, you can type in messages and Siri will read them back to you whenever you plug in the phone. Did not know that was a thing. So now my phone tells me when it's charging and when it's done charging.
Hopefully you know about the shortcut that will call the police and send location data to interested individuals in the event that you are stopped by a police officer.
I will not be using the shortcut that calls the police.
No. Does not. I'm sorry. Did I say that it calls the police? No. It will contact interested parties in the event that you are stopped by the police. Sorry. That's what I meant to say. Like if you get pulled over in a traffic stop.
That is good to know because I mean, like that might be like
I have
mom and tell her to come
every
get me
time I will make sure that shit is activated on every iPhone that I have. All I gotta do if my car is press the Siri button and then say police, and it activates everything. Starts a recording. It sends text messages. It sends text messages with my location information, and if for any reason that recording is stopped, it will then hopefully it is stopped before the signal goes out, but it will then stop the recording and then send the recording. It will store the recording in the cloud.
Nice.
We'd love to see it.
Like as soon as I can remember how long after shortcuts was introduced to iOS, somebody created that, and I've had it on my phone ever since.
That's what's up.
I do's not fuck around. Again, that is a bespoke solution that is top notch. Bespoke because only one group of us on the planet definitely needs it. And I'm pretty sure there are Android versions too, like with third-party apps, like maybe, I think it's like Tasker or something like that. I forget what the automation app on Android is. That's right, bespoke. So yeah, be careful with your data. Just know that you're always. I'm not going to say, and I hate when people say you're not necessarily being spied on, but just be aware that data about you is always being collected, whether you are actively trying to not be a part of it or you don't care. I'm a part of the crowd that does not care, for reasons. But yeah, just be careful about that. The more you know, the more you can be careful and do things to protect yourself in those situations. I mean, the thing is, like, everything is started with good intentions until capitalism gets involved and then surveillance gets involved. But of course, everything is just majorly motivated by capitalism. Mark Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg won't be deposed over the Cambridge Analytica scandal. Therefore, I believe striking down Kev's theory that for any time a company messes up, the CEO has to answer.
For Cambridge Analytica, right?
Yes.
Now, this is the stuff that this is like on that list of things that they were talking about, like back in like when they were doing the whole like Senate hearing and stuff. This was part of that whole cycle of things.
I'm sorry, I was reading something. Can you repeat that?
No, this thing that they were not deposed for. Wasn't this part of like that same cycle of stuff that they had to go to the Senate hearings for?
I mean, they're always going to the Senate for things, so it's almost like pick one here. But this was I think it was a survey that was run back in 2015, and it was so pervasive that it not only got information on you, but anybody that you may have been friends with and got information from them too. It was so bad that Facebook actually put out a tool to see if your information was given to Cambridge Analytica.
Which, of course, it was.
Not everybody's. Mine was.
Yep. Okay. To call.
Yeah.
So it's exactly that. So okay. So
Yeah,
is exactly
it was.
what
Yeah,
I
it was
thought
that Republican think tank.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was talking about this because the thing that I keep like referring to, the major thing that I know that Facebook was at like before the Senate for, among other things, was hey, the way that you allow people to collect data about your users and stuff, had a disproportionate impact on like how things happened back in the 2016 to 2020 like election cycle and everything leading up to the election cycle for those 4 years. And you need to like talk to us about what the hell that was.
Let's see. Trying to. Jesus, 4 pages of this. Good lord. Yeah, this is just too much. Just know it was a very, very big thing. There was a lot going on with that shit. I mean, but her emails, Tycho, her emails.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got up here?
Yeah, let's continue. The emails.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Lastpass was hacked, but user passwords were not accessed.
That we know of.
Well, so the only things that all right, so let's back this up. The only thing that was stolen was just source code. Nothing else from the user databases, because of the fact that those are protected in the cloud. If they were to get credentials, they are salted enough to where they should not be encrypted and people can get access to them, or at least not quickly. LastPass would have enough time to let users know and have them change passwords. And that's saying that's saying if the people who stole the passwords don't have access to a quantum computer, because then at that point we're fucked. Okay, this redacted thing. Is that a thing? What are y'all talking about? Is that a show? What is this? What are we redacting here? Like, it's like reading a fucking top secret document. Just see black bars on the screen.
Mm-hmm. We're not trying to get caught slipping. I'm gonna text you that on the burner phone. Anyway.
Next thing you know, it's like this podcast is gonna just turn into Call of Duty Black Ops. It's just screens and just documents with just black Sharpie just across everything.
Tech Talk Spy Days.
We'll figure out how to put a black bar on OBS and just go put it across my name. Who's like my name was redacted.
Please.
Yes, exactly. Like the intro to Black Ops or any fucking spy thriller you watch on TV. It just documents. You just watch this black Sharpie. Just go through all of them. The Bay of Pigs redacted.
Redacted.
Tech Talk Ethical Hacking Convention. Oh my goodness. Anywho, yeah, so LastPass was hacked. The only thing that was taken was some source code. There was no passwords, there were no passwords leaked. So everybody should be okay. But hey, just make sure in the meantime, one, get off of LastPass if you're on it. Two, if you can't change your password, just do it. Just do it. Speaking,
KeyPass.
Bitwarden, Dashlane. I mean, I don't know. I can only recommend Bitwarden. I don't know about these other ones. Fucking iCloud password, or maybe better.
Google passwords.
Yeah. Yeah, I am team Bitwarden over here. Yeah, I tried to do the self-hosted Bitwarden thing, but it's like, it seems like too much trouble. I just gave up on that. Worked with more orgs that use Dashlane. See, look, there are alternatives. Just don't use LastPass. Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
And more cybersecurity news. A huge phishing campaign is targeted over 130 companies, affecting Twilio and Signal. DoorDash, Best Buy, and AT&T were also targeted. Over 130 organizations, including Twilio and DoorDash, have been potential compromised by hackers as part of a months-long phishing campaign named Octopus by security researchers. Login credentials belonging to nearly 10,000 individuals were stolen by attackers who imitated the popular single sign-on service Okta, according to a report from cybersecurity outfit Group IB. Excuse me. Now, this is what got me. Interestingly, Group IB's analysis suggests that the attackers were somewhat inexperienced. Quote, the analysis of the phishing kit revealed that it was poorly configured and the way it had been developed provided an ability to extract stolen credentials for further analysis, end quote. Roberto Martinez, a senior threat intelligence analyst for Group IB, told TechCrunch. So yeah, like, we found it. We were able to look in there and we saw where we could find the passwords. That's how we know who got hit. But experienced or not, the scale of the attack is massive, with Group IB detecting 169 unique domains targeted by the campaign. It's believed that the Octopus campaign began around March 2022, and that so far, around 9,931 login credentials have been stolen. The attackers have spread their net wide, targeting multiple industries, including finance, gaming, and telecoms. Domains cited by Group IB as targets but not confirmed breaches include Microsoft, Twitter, AT&T, Verizon Wireless, Coinbase, Best Buy, T-Mobile, Riot Games, and Epic Games. So, yeah. Now we have to be careful of the two-factor or either the two-factor or the single sign-on services that we use. Okta mainly being used in the corporate world. This ain't great. Sid, you okay over there?
I'm sure it's fine. No, I'm sure it's fine. Sure it's fine.
You use Okta for work?
It's okay.
You use Okta for work? Yeah, he does.
No, sure don't. I have no idea what you're talking about. Hold on for a moment. Let me just update a thing real quick. Just real quick, because why? Wait, I can't. Oh wait, hold on. I can. Give me a second. I'm going to, because I know this isn't going to mess up anything on Discord. I'm going to do this real quick. Because surely not, right?
The job I had 2 jobs ago used Authy.
Okta. Interesting. So, while I'm in the middle of trying to figure out how to make this do what it do, and it might not, tell me what your thoughts are on Okta.
I mean, it's okay, but yeah, apparently they are not doing okay. But as I mentioned before, they have affected Twilio, which means that, hey, Authy might be in some trouble, but not really, because Authy is owned by Twilio. So, again, while they are attacking single sign-on, there is a possibility that they may not have, but just to be on the safe side, they may have done some stuff for Authy. Again, it does not do you any good if you have the second factor, but you don't have the first. That's why there is 2 factors in this. One way you can sit to keep yourself safe is if you just redo your 2FA tokens. One way they're saying that they could sit there and get their hooks into you is if you allow for device syncing. So if you are going to do device syncing, that's good. Turn it on, do the device sync with another device, but then turn off device syncing after that. That way the users can't, that way if they do have access to Authy in a way that is not good for Twilio, they can't make more copies of your Authy account. It's not his fault. It's well, if the custom app that he's using only works on XP, yeah, he's already fucked. Unless that's an air gap machine. But hey, we've had an article where it doesn't even matter if it's air gapped. If that SATA cable ain't installed properly, data's getting stolen anyway.
I mean,
Apple says that 95% of iCloud users already have 2-factor authentication enabled ahead of Passkeys launch. So it seems like brothers and sisters and those who identify as neither of those in the audience, our message is being received far and wide in the Tech Talk Tabernacle when we speak of our tech commandments, at least among the iCloud delegation. When we tell them to enable 2-factor authentication, they did so in droves. They said, we do not want to be susceptible to attacks. We do not want our data stolen. We do not want our naked, sexy time pictures to be leaked all over the internet. They said, praise be to the second factor and the holy trinity of login, the username, the password, and that second factor.
All I'm going to tell y'all is, whoever manages to stumble on such a thing, if you do that, you deserve what you get. Don't do that.
Wait, what happened? What did they do? What did I miss?
Nah, I need written excuses. Oh no, please.
They didn't complain, they just did it. That's all I can say. Mm-hmm. Thank you for coming to church. Thank you for visiting Tech Talk Tabernacle.
Mm-hmm. Tech Talk Tabernacle.
I had to bring that back.
Fighting the good fight since at least 2018.
2020.
2020.
Yeah, 2020.
The text box to log in is now open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they can say, pass the Cash App around. Drop a little something in the Cash App. We like the things that jingle, but we love the thing that folds.
If y'all don't clip that right now.
Clip.
There you go.
Jesus.
Be a fence to my wall garden. Keep my apples appling and my Googles Googling.
Mm-hmm.
And please bring them together when need be.
Mm-hmm.
Please provide an open source solution to allow my devices to communicate with one another.
That's right.
Until we must part ways and do it wirelessly.
Until we meet again.
And do a secure handshake.
We must neural handshake and agree.
We must sin, we must act, and then we sin act.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Y'all enjoyed that tweet. That's not a fact here.
Only thing missing is Sid fanning himself one of those things they pass out with the AC broken.
Mm-hmm.
You mean a fan?
This is the blessing. Upper room.
Oh my god. Why does it not open? Why does it thank you?
This is
like
the blessing
button
upper
that
room.
we love the button that pulls.
Oh, we got to get to heaven from right down here.
Okay. I'm back. iPhone lockdown mode can be easily detected, and it could make you a target. Apparently, when you use the iPhone's lockdown mode, it is amazing what happens here. Apparently, it will not run versions of JavaScript. It will not load specific fonts. And a website can tell when you said, no, I don't feel like loading your font. And therefore, your phone is being flagged. So, yep, that one, I don't like that one right there. It ain't load my font. They in lockdown. That's the one. Get them.
I looked at that article and all I could think was, okay, duh, and like, hey, you can see when people don't want to interact with you. Yes.
But at that point, if it's a malicious site, especially if you're already being targeted for something and you're known to go to that site, if your phone, if it detects that there's a phone on that website that's not loading those fonts, then okay, they're protecting against something. It's like thing of like just like kind of casting that wide net to see what it gets. Because if you aren't protecting yourself, then why would you not load the font? It doesn't matter.
Like, I feel like this is one of those, okay, and like, mind your business, leave me alone.
But again, like the reason for lockdown mode is because you are being targeted. That's the thing. So if you're like, you only enable lockdown mode because you're being targeted, and now you've just put a target on your back because you're not doing things that this specific website is telling you to do. It just calls you out at that point. So, that's the one right there. We need to do more work on that one.
Well, I mean, it's one of those, like, it's one of those things, like, it's not really as much of an arguable point as much as going, like, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't on that one.
Yeah. I mean, but that's most everything on the internet nowadays, unfortunately. There was nothing we could do. Nothing we could do. Even amongst browsers, orthodoxical behaviors, lockdown mode ain't amongst that orthodox. Okay. Excuse me real quick. Copy. Paste. Authorized or generally accepted theory, doctrine, or practice. Okay. Yep. Now that sentence makes sense. Thank you. Look, I'm not as smart as y'all think I am. FTC sues data broker for letting people track health clinic visitors.
In fuck around and find out news.
You know, not a very long time ago, and not a Tech Talk Thursday broadcast far, far away, didn't we say something about this nonsense right around the time a certain decision dropped? Like, I'm just... What are we supposed to say to this? Like, yes, people are probably tracking people for health clinics, which y'all knew they were going to do the moment that you put a place, you know, like period trackers and stuff like that on things, and or had like things going, well, you could reasonably report people for this. Child, we knew. They started spinning up laws around this and everything, most notably in the great, grand, and glorious state of Texas. I'm going to hold that face so y'all can see exactly what I think there.
Yes, please hold that for as long as you can. I have to go turn something off.
All of that to say, I mean, I suppose on the one hand, I appreciate the lawsuit, but it's the I guess the exhausting part for me in the middle of like articles like these is we were at the top of a really long hill right here, and at the top of that hill, we saw a big ass boulder rolling straight for us and went, but what if we didn't move? Like, surely it'll just roll down a different part of this aggro crag. Why?
Well, again, according
Child,
to
let me go get a soda.
again,
I'm gonna let you talk to Kevin about this real quick.
Well, again,
Racking
according
up in
to
90s kid.
Well, again, like the article does say that the suit follows an FTC promise to crack down on medical location data sharing, a widespread issue that's become particularly fraught after the demise of Roe v. Wade. Outlets including Motherboard have reported on data brokers selling cheap access to geolocation data around reproductive health clinics, something that could compromise visitors' privacy and open them up to harassment or legal action. So, I mean, people have been taking notice and have actually been working to try to combat that issue. Like, it seems like they've been kind of working on it for a while. Well, no, at least since July 11th. Yeah, FTC says it will crack down on medical and location data sharing after abortion privacy concerns. So yeah, I mean, they've been talking about it for a while. Like it's a thing that where, yeah, when people saw that when people saw it coming and when the decision was made, people did kind of step into action. FTC did step into action to try to curb that, and this is one of the results of that.
Hey, yo, FTC, y'all have a handful of states to sue. I hope you get all the money that it's worth. Take the clothes too. Take the pants and their shoes. I hope you take the concrete out their driveway. Take the whole thing. Don't leave a single bit of crisp in. No crisp in their chicken. No syrup on their waffles. Take the whole thing.
Damn.
Take all the who hash.
Well, it sounds like the same thing is happening to the True Social. True Social is strapped for cash and struggling to find new users, and it's having a hard time getting Google Play Store approval.
I believe the phrase that we like to use here among us melanated folk is "God don't like ugly," because listen.
Wow.
However, I feel like some terms in that whole story need explaining.
The most immediate problem is the platform stalled SPAC, initially planned as a way to publicly trade shares in the new company without the diligence of an IPO. What the fuck?
Oh.
Really?
Okay, so, hi. Your resident they decided to write down some definitions for y'all because they dropped a whole bunch of acronyms and didn't explain shit because they assumed that y'all understand stuff. So, without the due diligence of an IPO, let's talk about it.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to read the rest of the article first before I get into these explanations or what?
Oh yeah, I can finish the paragraph. But the SPAC has been delayed, leaving the Digital World Acquisition Corp, which was projected to take ownership of Truth Social, in an awkward position. SEC filings show that the company has lost over $6 million in the first half of this year, hasn't generated any revenue, and holds only $293 million in a trust that houses most of its assets.
All right. So let's talk about what, okay. See, Takal, that's why I got you. That's why I got you, because I read this article, and so, as, for the audience, we do read these articles before we, start talking about them and things, or try to make some show notes about them, and in particular for me, because, we love accessibility around here. I do look for things where I'm just like, oh, y'all use a whole bunch of acronyms, but no one knows what these things mean. And y'all didn't link anywhere. So, an SPAC, there's words that this means, and I can't remember. It's like a special, it's a special company classification. The reason that they exist is to gather capital with the intent, and I put this in quotes here, with the intent of hitting IPO. Their specific purpose is only to exist as a way to acquire or merge with another company. And that's why they don't have to follow the rules they don't have to follow the full set of rules that a company would normally have to follow to do IPO related things.
So a SPAC is a special purpose acquisition company.
And its only purpose is to either be acquired or merge with another company.
Yes, a shell company formed to raise capital to acquire an existing company.
And that's all that's for. And because it's only for that purpose as opposed to other things, they don't have to do the full gamut of stuff that a company would normally have to do to hit, to raise money for IPO or fill out all the paperwork and all the level of scrutiny that has.
Something only a crook would do.
Now, here's the thing. Truth Social was supposed to be that company. They were supposed to try to, that Digital World, I think it was?
Yes, Digital World Acquisition Corporation.
That company was supposed to acquire Truth Social. And the idea being, when they did, it would give Truth Social an infusion of capital or whatever. Here's the problem. Truth Social not having enough money doesn't mean, has had them put things on hold, because here's the other thing. That whole thing, that process of being the special purpose acquisition company, has a timer of 2 years. And after that, whoever invested money, you have to give that money back.
Clock's ticking,
And that's part of why Digital World, they're trying to file for an extension, because they're reaching the end of that time limit. So that's thing number one. Thing number two, this is also referenced in the article, but when we say Truth Social doesn't have a lot of money, it's not just that they're running out of money. It's that there are people that they're paying for services and hosting and management and all that other stuff, and they haven't run these people their coins. It's not recently that they haven't run people their coins either. It's been a little minute now that they haven't been running people their coins.
Earlier this week, Fox Business reported that the company stopped paying RightForge, a conservative internet infrastructure company, in March, and now owes the vendor at least $1.6 million in backdated payments. While RightForge CEO Martin Avila has said that the company is committed to servicing Truth Social, the platform could lose its hosting services if it continues to withhold payments.
Child, the way that these, being a shitty human being is gonna have y'all out here broke and destitute. And I would like to remind y'all that the person at the helm of all of this, or at least who's on the face of all of this, is a person who ran a multi-season show of companies that did not work and has a multi-decade history of making companies that also do not function, and every single one of them has gone into bankruptcy, and they thought this person was going to carry this platform
has
into the future.
And has a very clear history of not paying his bills.
No, actually, let's take it a step beyond that. Has a history of getting things up to a certain point and then taking their bag and leaving everybody else out to dry regularly.
Right.
Let me tell you something about how this whole supremacy thing, how white supremacy, racism, sexism, homophobia, queerphobia, transphobia, fatphobia works. If it can ever be turned on you, it will be. The snake will bite you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
wait, did we talk about Omarosa last week? We might have.
We did. No, not last week, but the week before.
Oh, okay.
I was here for that conversation.
Yeah, I knew we talked about Omarosa at one point. I don't remember when.
Mm-hmm.
I told you. Who were we talking about? Who were we talking about?
I said the clown comes back to bite.
I can't remember. We were talking, but it was one of those. It was like a classic case of coonery TM.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Because
but
again, white supremacy in all forms hurts everybody. Karens and Kyles are, they hurt everybody.
So, like, first thing, right? You have that whole thing, but you also have a person that you know is duplicitous, but y'all thought supporting somebody who was just kind of like, yeah, I'm willing to be racist so you can go ahead and invest these coins, and then they're trying to leave because here's the other thing. Like I said, they went quiet and that timer's almost up. Like I told y'all, at the end of that timer, which I suppose is supposed to be like this month or next month or really soon, for the SEC filing, which they have to do for this IPO thing, which is the, they have to give that money back.
Yep.
They basically like have a whole bunch of people being like, so you're gonna run us this coin, and I can guarantee you that someone is sitting in the back talking about how they're trying to get out before any of this stuff really hits the fan, and no one's gonna be able to find that shit. Child, it's about to be the whole FBI coming to Mar-a-Lago for like federal
different
papers
reason.
part 2.
Mm-hmm. They just be like, we never left.
Y'all don't learn. Like, when people, something, I'm going to give you this wisdom from a black woman to everyone listening when it comes to this stuff and these scandals and the shock and surprise here. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. The first time. Child, 1980 and 90 was enough. Y'all didn't need any more.
Mans was making broke man moves, and I'm thinking like, if you got the money you say you got in an industry that you say you in, then how you making like broke man moves? You making con man moves, like that's steaks, vodka, board games,
buildings.
All I'm going to say is between the things that I'm keeping up with, I already have 2 brand new bags of elderberry flower tea to have on the pot when things are about to get on and popping.
Like, you don't see bays, you don't see gates. They don't make them types of moves. Warren is basically a pensioner at this point, but somebody said
this is what happens when you grow up with a lot of money and no consequences for your actions.
No consequences.
Oh yeah, Tycho, I was thinking that this motherfucker's a fucking mobster at this point, bro.
No, he's not a mobster. He's a grifter. Because I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh, you're right.
Because if you
a mobster, you ain't get caught.
Because again, if you were a mobster, you wouldn't be making these type of stupid moves, man.
Damn it, you were right. Motherfucker, Kevin's right again.
I what I'm trying to tell you.
Here,
Mobsters don't say nothing.
Kevin, let's go ahead and stop. Let's go ahead and step that up real quick. If he were part of the mafia making moves like this, someone would have come to collect him by now.
He would have lost some kneecaps. We're just trying to tell you. Like I say, these are like the Gordon Gekko stock babies who came up and was like, greed is good.
Look, Jerry's right. Somebody gotta be Fredo. Somebody's
Fredo at this point.
And that's Trump.
Because, yeah.
No, I mean, the thing is, all I'm going to say is, once again, for the melanated among us, we know what these things are like when people go out and foolish things, and we also know what it's like to see what I'm going to politely label as hood politics in action. And we know what happens when people are being foolish and then they take it a step too far and someone has to just go, we have to stop them being a problem or it's going to become our problem. And we don't need that. Because I'm going to tell you this, it wasn't the mafia, but during a section of that presidency of the 45th, there was a time when they stepped a little bit too far out of line and these people were just like, hello, hey, it's us. Let's just be real clear about something and you can proceed with your day. Don't forget who put you here. Don't make us have to repeat that either.
Also, I would feel like
that was said the one time.
Yeah. I feel like if he has those ties, though, I'm pretty sure everybody in New York is looking at him and said, no, because if we try to collect his ass now, look at how that went for our boy back in the 50s and 60s. We tried it once, it ain't worked. So, it worked, but we almost got that one time. Let's just let hang himself out to dry.
They just pull the order of protection off of him, and then all of a sudden, people start popping up, and then it's like, we just be like, the cover of protection comes off of him, and then all of a sudden, somebody pops up and be like, I need to talk to you.
But see, I think with Trump, they're like, no, we could do that, but no.
No. So here's the other thing too.
We caught too much shit with Kennedy. Let's not do that. They would be perfectly fine with him doing that. But also note here, in the wake of things, like, I think people have been looking at this as like the main event of him being gotten for these papers, but let's also keep note of the fact that a bunch of people tied to him over the course of his campaign have steadily been being convicted of things. Not like, these people are being like tried and it's just like, here's how much jail time you're going to get. Or here are some options for where you might be in jail. But these people are they're getting locked up.
Oh yeah, people going to jail.
They are. It's like it's not like a big statue toppling over. It's the last domino in a really long set of dominoes.
Yep.
It's literally it's literally like, we've got your bag man, we've got your money man, we got your bag man, your money man, we got your enforcer, we got your capo, your lieutenants. All we just waiting is just for one of these bugs to flip, and then we got you. And
the first one did. The sad thing is the first one they got did.
Right.
Oh, and
Cohen was like, I will tell you everything. This motherfucker on MSNBC said, oh yeah, Trump definitely did that.
Oh yeah,
let's keep in mind that this was after, and this is why this kind of comes full circle for me. That moment that y'all are talking about came after he did a whole bunch of things saying like, go forth and I am going to give you my blessings and pardon you for whatever, so you don't have to worry about it. And everybody went out there, ran out believing him, and he decided to play golf. And when the things kept calling, and they were just like, what about that immunity you said you were going to give us? And he's just like, sorry,
But see, well, I mean, unless he's been doing it since 2016, because Cohen was clapped up immediately. Cohen did not last very long.
No, I mean, it was like, that was right around the fields of January the 6th, as it were.
No, Cohen was...
No, I'm not talking about Cohen.
Oh, but yeah, the other, okay, yeah, the very public ones, yes.
Yeah, I'm talking about the public ones where it's just like very publicly, it was kind of like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and back you up and make sure that you're protected as long as you do what I need you to do. And the moment that they weren't needed anymore, thrown away. There is somebody sitting here, and probably several someone's being real petty, like...
Yeah, Bannon was caught up before...
You can go ahead and have that back.
Yeah, Bannon was caught up before the 6-2, but see, Bannon's been acting a whole fool because I think he can just afford to act like a whole fool.
Well,
like,
I mean, there's that.
He was just on his own.
They made him the face of a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, but Bannon just had the money initially, so like, give me the pardon. Don't give me the pardon. I'm good. I'm just going to be myself anyway.
Yep.
That all being said, I want to move. I'm sorry. Go ahead, because I want to move this over to the tech side of things.
No, go ahead.
So moving this true social story over to the tech side of things. It says here, the social network's biggest asset continues to be Trump himself and the legions of fans who have followed him after his ban from Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube in the wake of the Capitol riot. But where the iOS app saw a surge in downloads shortly after the FBI's warranted search of Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence, basic technological failures are still holding back growth. Excuse me. The app launched in February but wasn't widely available on Apple's App Store until May. It still hasn't launched on Android operating systems, something that Axios reported was due to insufficient content moderation. Now, there is a special article I have on that one.
It's hilarious because if you look at the application, it's like people should be able to talk to each other regardless of their political opinions. And they should have a platform to do that. But then, well, Major has the article on that. So, without further ado.
So it's been more than 18 months since most mainstream social media platforms banned former President Donald Trump following the attacks on the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. In retaliation, Trump promised to return with a new social network and uncensored platform similar to previous attempts in the past. That app, True Social, finally launched earlier this year, but more than 6 months after arriving on the App Store, which again was in May, it is yet to be made available on Android. Now, as the platform faces financial uncertainty, we're learning more about why True Social isn't on the Play Store. As reported by Axios, the months-long delay in getting the app on Android has everything to do with True Social's moderation policies, specifically those surrounding threats of violence. As a, quote, free speech social network, Truth claims to allow anyone on their site, well, almost anything, while adding a, quote, sensitive content warning to certain posts. That's not true moderation, though, nor does it seem to catch every post that contains calls for violence. Axios specifically highlights a comment that threatened harm against military members before calling the U.S. to be nuked, which went unlabeled on the site. Sounds like a great, extremely chill place to spend your time.
Sorry, continue.
According to Google's official statement on the matter, the company sent a list of violations to True Social on August 19th, and the company will have to rectify these infringements before it's allowed to publish on the Play Store, on their Play Store. Meanwhile, True Social CEO Devin Nunes, remember him? Senator turned CEO of True Social?
The Midnight Ride.
Insists his company is waiting on Google to take actions, telling Axios, quote, I don't know what's taking them so long. Up to this point, the social network has specifically avoided third-party app stores or direct APK downloads, instead simply allowing interested parties to pre-order the app, Android app by pre-registry. Now, before I say anything, because I wanted to get to that part, which baffles me beyond end. For motherfuckers who have Android, who can probably learn from whatever fucking 4chan, 8chan, 2chan, quadruple chan, chimichanga chan website they want to learn shit from, and can't figure out how to install from unknown sources, and just install the fucking APK so they can grow the fucking network without having to go through Google Play. Not only is truth, like, and again, I hate that I'm giving them, tech advice, but just so fucking asinine to read this.
No, listen, leave the shea butter in the cabinet. Don't explain this, but also, homie, you act like these are intelligent people.
It kind of goes back full circle with this, the whole thing of Major being like, you can't expect this kind of thing from people who don't, grasp knowledge. Like I know what you're thinking. I know you like you're a solutions guy. You find solutions with solution ways. But let them beat them rocks over there.
It's not
Let them
hard.
clang them rocks together and make fire, and leave them the fuck alone.
But it's not hard.
Let them rub them two sticks together.
This is why I can't play Overwatch with people.
And leave them alone.
This is why I can't play Overwatch with people. Because I was looking at the other two. Like, oh my God, y'all could have done it. Don't give them the answer. I can't help it.
Same thing with like dealing with their website infrastructure. But I mean, also, Major, they're not like, clearly they have a problem with paying people who have the talent to do the things that their platform needs. So let's start there.
Right.
It's not hard.
Let them literally try to spin straw into pudding and leave them alone.
Thing too. None of this stuff is easy. None of this stuff is difficult. But I'm pretty sure that if any of this stuff came up in their browser, it's like stuff that they could Google if they wanted to. But as you can tell from the way that they carry on conversations about the world and the people in it, Google is not their friend either. Do you have any idea how many seconds it would take for me to type in, how do I install an APK on my Android phone?
Do you want to know how easy it is? All you have to do is just download it, click it, and it was like, hey, would you like to install from unknown sources? It won't ask you if that's what you want to do. It will just let you do it.
I mean, you're talking to two people who are well aware of that. I'm just saying, there are people that you can say that to, and then there are people that you can say that to, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
It's not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard.
You know something? Major, Jerry Bunn has a point here.
Y'all assuming they wanted to succeed. I'm with Kev. Exactly. Let them bang them rocks together. Let them bang them rocks together and make diet soda and keep it rolling.
Major. So I know you can hear me, which is fine. Jerry Bunn just said, y'all are assuming that they wanted to succeed, and honestly, that's true.
As if it's not just a big Ponzi scheme already.
Yeah, if these people are already paying for access to this app, which they probably are on some level, I wouldn't be surprised.
It's all a grift. This is Trump steaks again.
Thank you. Wow. Look, I know Tycho, we agree and we disagree on a lot of things, but this is the most validation I want. When Tycho looks at me, so I understand where Major's coming from. It's not hard.
I mean, again, I would feel the way if I'm seeing people absolutely making absolutely dumb and asinine decisions, out there somewhere in the world, again, trying to bang rocks together and make diet soda. I mean, again, it would what are you trying to do? I'm trying to make diet soda. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. But then I realized that they are horrible individuals, and I'm going to let them bang them rocks.
It's just one of those, there are people I'm just like, ooh, baby, no, let me help you. And then there are some people that you just go, interesting.
Right. Be the same ones, exact what Rose says. Be the same ones that be like, big tech is trying to muscle us until it's time for them to try to be big tech. And try to put the little big tech draws on and try to figure out how to make a social network. And it's hard because Zuckerberg made it seem kind of easy.
It screams of saying somebody locked me in the car. Somebody locked me in the driver's seat of the car. in an empty parking lot.
It's giving I'm like, it's giving the example that I gave to one of my elderly clients, IT in the IT field. I said, the way you called them and they locked you out of your own computer is the equivalent of someone putting a chair in front of your door with a note stapled to the chair saying, if you want to move this chair, call this number. You call the number, they move the chair, then they put a bank vault in front of your door. That's exactly what happened. But they moved the chair. But yeah. I didn't ask you to put a bank vault here. Yes, but you called me and asked to put the chair, to move the chair. And I did that, to put the bank vault here. So now you got to pay me for the combination. All you literally had to do was to call me and I will move the chair. But you called them to scam you. Now I have to charge you.
I am going to move on because the more I think about this shit, it's going to be fucking big.
I mean, it's only triggering you, man.
Yes, it is. It's not fucking hard. Okay. A high-severity TikTok vulnerability allowed one-click account hijacking. Hackers could have used the exploit to post videos, send messages, and edit account details. But the kicker is, Microsoft saved the day. Details of the one-click exploit were revealed today in a blog post from researchers on Microsoft's 365 Defender research team. The vulnerability was disclosed to TikTok by Microsoft and has since been patched.
You get 1 golf clap.
Yep. Hooray, Nadella.
One.
Just one.
Oh,
clap.
Okay, there you go. Yay, Nadella. You did it.
And now on to games. Finally.
Oh.
And another security vulnerability. Ransomware abuses Genshin Impact's kernel mode anti-cheat bypass antivirus. Sorry, let me read that correctly because that timing seemed off. Ransomware abuses Genshin Impact's kernel mode anti-cheat to bypass antivirus protection.
Rip.
And the best part is you don't even need to install Genshin Impact.
Well, damn.
So I went ahead and uninstalled Genshin Impact.
I better tell Namu about this. He's the only person I watch that actually plays good snippet.
Hoyoverse PR sent PC Gamer the statement. The Hoyoverse team takes information security very seriously. We're currently working on this case and we'll find a solution as soon as possible to safeguard player safety, and stop potential abuse of the anti-cheat function. We will keep you posted once we have further progress. So hey, it is a very exploitable thing. They have not fixed it. Do with that as you will, PC players. And as I have warned before, kernel level anti-cheat measures, maybe not the best move.
Maybe not the best.
Excuse me. This is hardly the first time that kernel level anti-cheat has been a security concern for the games industry. A double whammy hit in May 2020 when both Riot Games Valorant and Doom Eternal released with kernel mode anti-cheat. At the time, Riot noted that plenty of other kernel level anti-cheat software already existed. Riot decided to play whataboutisms, which actually sounds on brand for Riot. Although not to the extent of Riot's Vanguard software, which begins when Windows boots up. That sounds fun. I was waiting for this to happen and knew it wouldn't end well since I'd push hackers to figure out how to break kernel mode based anti-cheat. I just waited until Eternal removed it before I played. Okay, and that must be why Doom Eternal isn't mentioned here, because I figured they would have moved it. Also, do not forget that Call of Duty uses kernel level anti-cheat protection. So yeah, keep that in mind. In more gaming news, Fortnite is doing an I Have a Dream anniversary event again.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
It's a recurring dream. I'm sorry to do it.
Boo this man. Boo!
Wait, what happened?
I said it was a recurring dream.
Boo!
Epic is once again collaborating with Time Magazine to host an in-game event, March Through Time, commemorating Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech at the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom on August 28th, 1963.
If you saw this event last time, clap your hands. It was a bad time.
I mean, it was a bad idea in thought, conception, execution, like planning. It was just terrible. It was just a terrible, terrible idea.
And people were already like, hey, if you're going to have this event, it could be cool. Like, there have been video game tributes made to historical things, and those things have been done well. But there are also things like, hey, you can't do this in this zone. You got people over here, like, doing, like, random emotes and throwing, like, shield grenades and stuff at the Martin Luther King speech in Fortnite. Like, homie, there are ways for you to do that.
Yep.
But, maybe if you're not going to like have some limits of decorum in that area about how to do that in a game, just go to your website or go to your socials and make a statement in text and just say the thing that you want to say, rather than like making this like Martin Luther King meets Coachella. Like, no one asked for this.
Nobody wanted this.
Last year, Epic debuted the event to a mixed reception and quickly had to remove players' ability to perform most emotes while launched into it. According to this author, the defining images of it in their mind remain stuff like Superman and Rick Sanchez raising the roof in front of a projection of Martin Luther King Jr.
And mind you, right, they had to limit the emotes. They didn't originally, and then they found out people were going to be foolish out here, and they had to.
Yep.
Just sometimes you can just do less.
Well, in other Fortnite news, trans superhero Dreamer joins Fortnite as part of the Rainbow Royale Pride event.
That's pretty cool.
Fortnite has begun its second annual Pride event, Rainbow Royale, with a collaboration of free LGBTQ-themed cosmetics and the arrival of DC's transgender superhero Dreamer, which I now realize kind of tied into the previous article just by dreams. Nia Nal, otherwise known as Dreamer, debuted in the 4th season of Arrowverse series Supergirl and was the first trans superhero in a TV show. By extension, this also makes Dreamer the first character confirmed as trans in Fortnite. Dreamer will be available via Fortnite's item shop later in the event, following a Zero Build Squads tournament where winners can collect the character early. Dreamer's TV actress Nicole Maines is also on board and will be streaming Fortnite in character next week.
That's neat.
Speaking of Call of Duty will join Xbox Game Pass in Water is Wet news. However, it will still launch on PlayStation the same day.
Makes sense.
Xbox boss details Activision merger plans as UK set to scrutinize deal. So feels like, yo, chill. Look, this is not anti-competitive. We're going to sell on PlayStation 2. It's just that folks on my side will just get it for free if they subscribe.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, everybody can play it.
Yep. Two things that I wanted to talk about when I saw this. One, there was some people that felt like that Jim Ryan, that Jim Ryan, from Sony was a better CEO than Phil, which I want to say, I don't think that is even close to the truth.
No.
To which somebody said that Don Matrick was a better
Who? I want names. Somebody. I know it's bad. Dox that motherfucker.
Like that was the type of shenanigans right there where I was like, you know what, Kev? Not today. We're not doing it. We're gonna let it go.
Dox that motherfucker.
But when I tell you, I completely and utterly block that person. That person will never meet me in life, but that person gets a block. Period.
I need to know. I need names.
Because when I tell you right there, I was like, there's some people who would definitely disagree with that. And two, the best thing to happen to a lot of those like ABK games is not that they'll be on Game Pass. I mean, that's awesome. But what's also going to happen to a lot of those ABK games is they're going to be coming to Steam. Instead of them being behind like, oh, we're just releasing them through Battle.net. No, they'll be on more platforms.
Wait, isn't Call of Duty on Steam now?
No, I'm talking about Call of Duty. I'm talking about Overwatch.
Oh, yeah. I'm
talking about Diablo. I'm talking about Hearthstone.
Well, I mean, they'll all be free to play at that point. So it's like, yeah,
I know they'll be free to play.
Yeah,
they'll be available on Steam.
Yeah,
where people can actually play them instead of having to open up a whole browser, a whole nother launcher.
And hear me out, because I think IFA or whatever the industry event's happening this week where they showed it, or they could buy a Samsung monitor and just play it.
That too. So that right there would be the awesome thing where you can just have it on the platform of your choice and play it in the ways you want to play it on and have a good time with it. Naturally, I'm going to be playing this on Game Pass. That is what it is. I mean, that is what it is. I'm going to be playing it through the Game Pass launcher, whatever it is, because it's already included. However, if for whatever reason I want to have it on Steam, I want to have Overwatch 2 on Steam,
it would be beneficial to put it on Steam, or at least for me, because I have Steam Link.
Right.
And I can just load it up on my Apple TV.
Right. So I think that in itself.
I'm waiting to get my email. I've put in my reservation because, one, I did not understand how the reservations worked. But I have put down my $5. It says, Gaben, I'm in line for a Steam Deck.
Speaking of Steam Deck, I want to tell you something. My moderator Brittany, she has hers.
When did she?
And I'm like,
when did she put it in for a pre-order, or when did she?
Oh, she did hers initially. So she was on the initial run. Oh, okay. So when they was announced, she basically threw them $5 at him and was like, "Here you go." So that's why she got hers.
So to talk about that for a second, I did not understand how that worked, and was initially I was like, "I'll see what the initial run looks like." Mm-hmm. Then we're hearing everybody singing the praises of the Steam Deck. So, okay, yeah, eventually I'll do that. When I get the money, I'll put the reservation down. Not realizing that I could have just put $5 out and just could have waited, and be like, when they say, "All right, it's your turn. Do I have the money or not?"
Right.
And I did not realize that until last night.
Yep.
So I was like, oh shit, I could have been did this.
Yeah, you could have got one. You could have been like, yeah.
So yeah, last night I was like, yeah, let me go and put this $5 down.
Yeah.
And I did the research, right? Now, of course, they're saying like the 64 gigabytes, the slowest one. They're saying that the SD card that you can put in there has the comparable speeds. So, yeah, I'm going to get the cheap one go grab me an SD card, a nice big old SD card, just like my Switch. Pop that motherfucker in there. Because, I don't need my whole Steam library.
And
I found out that Vampire Survivors is on Steam. Mm-hmm. That's all I really want it for. I just want to be able to play Vampire Survivors as portably now.
Here's the cool thing, though. You can literally, like, have, like, multiple... You can have basically multiple games on multiple SD cards. You pull one out, you plug back in, here's all your games on it.
I was pointing, but I wanted to make sure it was high enough to where you can see it.
Yeah, you know. Because I was like, when I see that, I'm like, wait, I can literally have one card for this game, for these games, and then another one for these games.
Then one for Call of Duty.
One for Call of Duty.
Just one for Call of Duty.
Just one for Call of Duty. Just one.
The other one for Red Dead Redemption 2.
With Red Dead Redemption 2.
I'm gonna get a Nintendo one. I'm gonna get the Nintendo one that's red, just so I know.
Or you can just get a red one and just be like, just put a magic mushroom on it and a Sharpie. Same thing. Save you some money.
Well, I mean, at that point, I just wanted it to be red, so I know it's Red Dead Redemption. I don't need it to be the Nintendo one. I just want it because it's red.
I see the vision. I see it.
I'm trying to make a plan. Again, see? Solutions. What is this group buy that you're talking about, Tycho? I'm curious about this group buy thing. What is that about?
Well, is it like the 4-pack?
Like, so I'm gonna tell you, so finally, because as y'all know, I've been traveling a little bit. I've been traveling more now. I played my Switch while I was out, but it's like Wargroove is fine, but I would have liked to play PC games on it. It would be like to hear that, Spider-Man is Steam Deck compatible. It works great on Steam Deck. To hear that Death Stranding works great on Steam Deck. Like, it would have been nice to be able to play them, but also it's that thing too of, would it last an entire flight? Because I've also been hearing that the battery isn't great either.
I mean, we're in the vein of we charging. So like, we just run around with them big bricks.
I mean, yeah. Like, look, in my backpack there is a battery pack that lives in there.
Oh yeah, I got me a 10,000. I got me a 10,000 one. I'm like, keep it for a reason.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. The group buy. The group buy model is when you have people sign up and put money down only to finish payment and receive shipments way later. Popularized by Drop and the keyboard switch drops that they do.
Oh yeah.
Honestly, I think that with Valve doing that, it's not so much like a group buy, but they're just, because like people are getting the emails as they become available, and I imagine they're coming out in batches because that's how the manufacturing process is. Like, you just get a batch of Steam Decks, and like a group of people will get an email.
Yeah. Because it's not like they can just mass produce them. Yeah. They have to make them. Have to make them.
It looked like I think with the Steam, it looks like a group buy in that scenario because of how manufacturing is being done.
Also, and I know this, and then he points out
like it's happened over the past 2 years. What has also been happening over the past 2 years? Like, you can only get but so many things. So yes, they come out in bunches. I don't think they were meant to be like these, like mass drop and whatever. Because I know what you're talking about with that. Because that's like, hey, if enough people buy into it, then they'll release it. If not, they don't release it.
Right.
This is like, hey, I'm reserving. A whole bunch of people get an email because a shipment became available, and they reach out to the next people in line to make sure that those people get a Steam Deck.
Right.
As opposed to like just putting them out in a store like, hey, we've got a shipment of 10, and then somebody goes online, buys all 10, and then resells them.
Right.
I think Valve looked at what was happening with consoles and PC hardware and was like, yeah, we're gonna avoid that. We can't fully avoid it, but we're gonna do better than trying to just sell what we got and hope that it gets in the right people's hands.
I wish you asked me 3 months ago. I mean, yeah, you got to get them bad boys in. Bad boys in early. I'm just gonna wait till next year because I'm just gonna wait till next year. You know.
Yeah, I would say like especially when you're ready, like go ahead, put the $5 if they're not more readily available. And the reason why I'm saying like I don't think it's group buy because of the fact that more and more Steam Decks have been getting to people's hands lately. Like they were stretched out to like Q1 2024, but all of the Steam Decks now are showing as Q3 2022. I'm sorry, I meant to say Q1 2023, but now they're all showing as Q3 2022.
Yeah. They found more chips under a rock. We found some more chips, y'all. Let's make it happen.
I mean, I don't think like again, it's that thing of like I don't know. Like I can only imagine how they decided to go about it, but I don't necessarily think it was a group buy related scenario. I think that Valve does not seem like that company that is very anti-consumer. Granted, you can say something about like how they do returns and whatever.
Have you seen like the repair structure for those things? They're all modular.
Yeah. Ooh. Like Valve, for it to be a closed source company, kind of it goes against. I feel like it goes against a lot of things, like a lot of other companies, like Nintendo. And like, didn't they from the outset partner with iFixit to say, hey, if you want to fix your shit, here's iFixit tools and parts.
It's literally tools, a manual how to break it down.
Now they say don't do it, but hey,
it's like
don't do it.
Don't do it. I mean, it's open. It's like, I mean, it's more like we'd rather you not, but
we understand.
Here's documentation. Here's tools. Here's repair parts. Hey, be careful, but you can do it. I mean, it's everything down to Phillip head screws, man.
Yeah, it's a thing where like I do not think that this was some corporate thing. I really think that Valve tried to do what was best for the consumer given what was happening. And again, it's not to say that it's not to say that it was going to 100% work. And yes, there are always going to be resellers because again, I'm pretty sure there are people who are trying to buy up all the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and resell Cinnamon Toast Crunch if they could.
Oh yeah, they would.
But I feel like compared to how it was getting graphics cards, compared to how it's getting consoles, I still feel like there are people who are getting Steam Decks who legitimately want Steam Decks and are getting them from Valve and not going through eBay or other resellers.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Kev shrug.
Yeah, this should be part of the picture. Just somebody shrugging.
I need you to take a nice, good, high quality photo and send it to me with you, Kev shrugging. I'm not hearing suffering with the Steam Deck. Well, I'm confused by that statement. What do you mean? And while we wait for that clarification, Sony is being sued for £5 billion over PlayStation Store prices. Oh, they were suffering to get other. Oh, okay, yeah. And that's the thing. Like people understood what people. I think people who were getting the Steam Deck understood the process and knew that, hey, if I get in line, it's a little bit more. It's fair to say, all right, we know that hardware availability is tough, but if I put my $5 down to get in line legitimately, that at some point I will get a Steam Deck, and if I wait and it's more people drop out of a line because they may not can afford it, then I will get it quicker. So yeah, I don't think people were going to complain about that process because at least they were in a line. They just needed to wait their turn. Honestly, I would say if a lot of other people did it that way, especially giving the hardware constraints that we were dealing with, things would have been a little bit more civilized, and like people would have been able to get the hardware that they want. The scalpers would too, but it wouldn't be the scalpers that buying up all of the inventory. Because again, the thing with the Steam Deck, I have to be logged into Steam. I gotta put money down tied to an account. They know I am an individual person. They see my Steam library. Like, who's gonna go out and buy like 1,000 games just to try to fake being a person? But again, Kev Shrug, I don't know. I feel like it worked. Nobody's complaining about the Steam Deck availability other than, well, I guess I gotta wait. Like everybody complaining, well, shit, it's so expensive to get a graphics card, or man, every time one becomes available, there's none available.
I feel like it'd be good if it's like you knew if you put your money down and you knew you were going to get your thing.
And that's the thing.
But you had to wait.
Yeah.
Instead of having to like
legitimately a pre-order. Legitimately just a pre-order. And I always talk against pre-orders, especially like dude, you could just buy it digitally day one. What the fuck? But for this, I kind of understand. Like, I guess that I kind of would understand, like, if we only have physical ways to buy games, whereas, like, this is the game you really wanted, yes, put the money down for a pre-order. Mm-hmm. Like, for a car, I had to put that, like, in order for me to hold a car, I would have needed to put $1,000 down to hold the car once it got there. Was willing to do that. Yep, but then I bought a Mac Studio instead, and, yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like it was well... You know what? I'm just gonna move on. That's the difference with the deck. Put your money down and then wait. Everything else you'll have to fight. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like
a novel concept.
Man, hurry up and wait. So Sony being sued for £5 billion over PlayStation Store prices. Now, of course, this is something that's been out for a while, and I know that Young, who I'm not sure if he's here tonight, but Young had posted this last week when we were doing a Thursday Plays, and I didn't think nothing of it until Kev mentioned it a couple of days ago. And as someone who does not do PlayStation, has not done PlayStation in a while, did not know it was a thing. I had to explain myself. This has been a thing for years, and it is annoying as shit. And it screams of very, like, it is beyond just, it is capitalism, but very monopolistic, if you will.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Because what's happening here, and the reason why they're being sued is PlayStation digital games are not available anywhere else. They're only available on the PlayStation Store. Which means that you are at the whim of PlayStation, you're at the whim of Sony for their prices, which can be very anti-competitive. When you can go to Best Buy, GameStop, Amazon, and buy physical copies of the games for way less because they were marked down. However, if you want it digitally, if you could only get it digitally, because, and hear me out, there is now a console that is all digital in Sony's lineup. The only place where you can buy the games are from Sony. Mm-hmm. Then you don't get access to those same discounts that your disc-based brethren would get.
Right.
Which does come off as very monopolistic because Sony doesn't have to compete. They can keep every game at $60 and never have a discount. And anybody who is forced to buy the games digitally... What happened? What did I say something again?
No,
it was something else. But yeah, there. I've also noticed that if you go to like certain brick and mortar stores, you can get like these little cards, and those little cards have the codes on them, where you can go even if you wanted to buy a game in store with like cash or alternate payments or whatever, you could just go to the store, drop $60 on that card. Scan it, it's activated, take it home, put the code in, and the game is live. There's some people that do that. I now noticed because I went to Walmart the other day. I now knew because I'm aware now. I now notice Sony doesn't have those cards, and so I'm like, but Nintendo does, and Nintendo has the cards. Like Nintendo has the cards, Xbox has the cards. Their cards for every. I mean, there's cards for everything. You can get Minecraft, digitally. But to say like Sony doesn't have those cards, even in the brick and mortar stores, and I'm like, that's kind of weird because sometimes people would like. Sometimes you go and you have like your money, you have like your Christmas money, your birthday money, your allowance, you save it up, but you don't want to buy a physical game. You just want to throw 60, like, here's my money, and to throw your money on there as a kid or as a young adult, you would think, or just anybody, like, hey, here's a card. And you don't want to like, you can't buy with cash unless you buy PlayStation credit to do that. When all you just want to do is buy the game anyway, and then you have all this extra credit. It's not really ideal. You
Well,
buy
I mean,
credit, but you can't buy the game.
But see, that's the thing too. Like, sure, there's that option, but it's the fact that you don't get the same discounts as people who could if they bought physical media.
Right.
Because there's nowhere to buy the digital game other than the PlayStation Store.
Yeah.
Like that's that main argument. And again, this would not be an issue if there wasn't a console that was digital only.
Right.
And that's why this becomes a problem. Like nobody complained about this until, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people bought those digital consoles. Like, I don't need physical disc, and then realized that they could not go to a store and buy digital copies of games.
Yeah.
And they probably, just like you, they thought they could, but never really looked that hard because there was the physical version right there. But when they bought the digital version, they bought the digital console and it was like, well, fuck, what do I do now? Like I remember like in the early days of my streaming career, like when I would do giveaways, like I was like, hey, giving away a game, platform of your choice. And I used to could buy the PlayStation code and give them the code. But like, yeah, after like, I think I noticed it during after one of those giveaways when somebody asked for a Sony code and I could not give it to them. I forgot what I did, but it's like, that was when I realized that, oh shit, they removed all of this. Like I thought like Best Buy was hiding it or Amazon was hiding it. And that's why I was like, no, Sony asked them to remove it. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck is this bullshit, bruh? So
why, something, can I just ask a question? Because I feel like this is one of these things that I'm constantly befuddled by every Tech Talk Thursday. If y'all are out here capitalists and you're trying to make money, why do you then make it so hard for people to just give you money for things? Like,
because they can't control the money.
What do you mean you can't control the money? Like you put a code on the screen and say, hey.
Because if I can charge somebody $60, but store X that I have no control over can sell it at a discount, I'm now making less money on that.
Okay, sure. But like, you mean to tell me that you can't just control the channels by which people can get your codes? Like this seems
well, that's what they're doing by not selling it everywhere else. Everybody has to come to Sony.
Yeah. That's the sucky part.
They've seized the means of production, or they've seized the means of distribution.
Because I was like,
I'm waiting for this. I hope this lawsuit works.
Exactly. Like I am against ruin on this one. I hope this goes all the fucking way, and we get those fucking codes back.
Because I'm like, that's
I don't even have a PlayStation. And I want some codes back. I'm okay.
Like,
I'm eating with Microsoft codes right now.
Yeah, I'm like, I was sitting there thinking to myself like, didn't we buy, even though we hadn't played it, didn't we buy Mario Tennis Aces from Target and then had the 5% off on top of that? And then it was like, it was 40, it was on sale for 40. Then we knocked 5% off because of it. I mean, yeah, but come we can't do that with you know what? Never mind. Sue them. Sue.
Yep.
I don't like PlayStation. I don't like PlayStation that much these days. Go sue them. So get your coins.
I mean, Ruin, you put Kappa up there, but you're not wrong. Also, it's in the UK. They're not a part of the EU anymore, so yeah.
Wow, you did do that.
They're not. They asked for it.
They did it themselves.
The country as a whole asked for it, even though, yes, there are individuals who didn't. And now, also, those individuals who did are kind of regretting doing it.
They regretted it almost like 6 months in, but, you know, something, shout out to Telia on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In good news, though. It took us almost 3 hours to get here, but good news. All women speed running event Flame Fatales raised $135,000 for charity.
Hand clap praise.
I have absolutely no comment for this article other than we love to see it.
Yes.
Love to see it.
We love to see it. Between this, the WNBA, and Serena just being over here and doing twirls on the court, I love this season.
With diamonds in her hair. Love it.
Delicious. We love it here.
Hit the ball one time.
And now to the dismay of Tycho. I think a couple of weeks ago we talked about Logitech and Tencent partnering together to create a streaming hardware, some game streaming hardware. I don't talk about leaks that much, but I wanted to share this because I'm actually pretty excited. I hope that this is it. I hope that this is the thing. This is the Logitech G gaming handheld leak with Google Play Store, Cloud Gaming, and Chrome. Again, like this is the handheld that was rumored to be made by with collaborations between Logitech and Tencent. Initially built as a handheld device that would just handle streaming or game streaming like Xbox Cloud Gaming, NVIDIA GeForce Now. I'm not sure why there are two Xbox logos there, but I wonder if one is cloud streaming and the other one is console streaming. Looks like you have Steam Link as well. I'm wondering if one of those Xbox logos may be PlayStation, which would be nice if that was there for PlayStation Now. And it's kind of like, honestly, I'm glad to kind of see it because NVIDIA had one, and which is true. But again, if it was an NVIDIA device, it would only have GeForce Now. I don't think it would include Xbox or PlayStation. It's one of the also another one of the reasons why I'm looking at the Steam Deck, because I really want to know how easy it is to get Game Pass running on it. Even though I do not want to install Windows, but I hear that it plays very well through a browser. So actually, I've tested it on a browser on my iOS devices. So, honestly, like I am of the opinion, like I really want this to succeed. I really want to see what this looks like in the end. I would like to get my hand. I mean, I don't know. I would like to get my hands up. For me, I just really want for a mobile device just to be able to have a mobile device that just like a beefed up iPod Touch. Really, I wanted the iPod Touch to just be as powerful as an iPhone, but does not have a phone attached to it. Does not have a cellular radio. Or if it does, it just does not take phone calls. I want to buy a data-only SIM and put it in an iPhone. I don't want to text. I don't want to call people. I just want to be able to game from wherever the fuck I am and call it a day. I want to slap my iPhone in a backbone and call it a day. And I feel like this device will be that. Put some 5G in this mug, yeah, we'd be good to go. You know what would really be nice though? If I could actually put 5G on that Steam Deck. has to be a way to do that.
But you know something, all it requires is a custom bespoke solution for that.
You know what? You're right. It's not like you lying. We could do that. Ubisoft postpones decommissioning of older online titles until October. And Anno 2070 has been saved. Like they were already fixing it to where that was going to work without Ubisoft anyway. But now they got an extra month to work on it if they haven't fixed it. Watched Digital Foundry before this podcast? No. Remember, that's on Plex. I'm 2 months behind, so I will see that in like probably 3 months from now because I'm probably going to be further delayed by the time I get to it. But yeah, like there were 15 titles that were scheduled for hearing. Oh yeah, they do say bespoke a lot. The Digital Foundry guys, they do say bespoke a lot. Originally 15 titles that were announced to be cut off at the end of August, but yeah, Ubisoft said nah, we'll wait. Of course, they are working to try to make sure that DLC that was attached to some of these games when they go offline will still work after the decommissioning, because that was one of the biggest things that people were complaining about. They were saying that, hey, if we turn off these services, your DLC will also be gone. It's like, well, yeah, what the fuck? I paid for that too. I should still be able to use it. So they're taking this month to, I guess, try to fix that problem and make sure that, you know, at least everything that people paid for, minus the online, is still accessible when the games when the game servers get decommissioned. In streaming news, Facebook gaming app is shutting down in October for iOS and Android. Of course, you would like to watch your favorite Facebook gaming streamers, you can go to Facebook's main app and watch them there. Again, the one way they're trying to bring people from all these other places into one place.
I saw like a take on this earlier in like the different parts of tech Twitter that I'm on different things. And it's that constant pendulum swing between decentralizing everything and centralizing everything. And it's just, we swing this far into centralizing and then go, maybe not. And then we swing this far into decentralizing everything and just go, maybe not. Like we just like,
but I don't
we don't
think
believe
it's
in the happy medium.
I don't think it's decentralization. I think it's, we'll launch a separate service, see how it does, and if it works well, then we'll just integrate it into the platform proper. Or it's not doing enough numbers to deserve its own platform, so we'll bring it in.
We're about to find out.
Because it'd be a shame that all those Mixer streamers that went over to Facebook, you know, just still kind of lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
NVIDIA broadcast support will make virtual green screens easier in OBS Studio. That's right, Kev. You could put away your Elgato green screen because now you'll have the full canvas to play with NVIDIA broadcast.
Never.
Yeah. I would at least say, man, put the camera in 1080 so your arms don't get cut off. Or your head when you lean.
That's my camera's fault.
This is so you can put that in 1080. So you can cover the whole thing. How did they think? No, so it's just YouTube and Twitch now. Oh, and they just like, oh, that site's not there. I don't know what you're talking about. There's no site there. None whatsoever. No site there. Popular open source streaming software OBS Studio is getting some new features, including AI-powered virtual backgrounds from NVIDIA broadcasts that allow you to change your virtual environment without using a green screen. Let's see. Coursera also integrated NVIDIA broadcasts, like we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. And sure, we could talk about how version 28.0 is currently in beta. But in software and hardware news, it's not. OBS Studio 28.0 is available today.
But be careful when you download it, because all those plugins don't carry over unless the devs who are working on those plugins have updated it to work with OBS 28. So
that's right.
Do due diligence.
Yeah, do due diligence. It will tell you which plugins do not work, and it actually does have a nice little note that says, "Hey, some plugins will not work with their 10th anniversary release." Yes, OBS Studio 28.0 is released today with 10-bit and HDR video encoding. Ooh, that's nice. And Qt6 ported, but of course, they buried the lead here. This is a momentous release for me personally, and all of us Apple Silicon Mac owners, because OBS Studio now natively runs on Apple Silicon. One step closer, baby, to 2 PC streaming. Now I just gotta get an expensive capture card, which is a bummer, because I want 4K and not 1080. So I just don't understand why AMD is so slow with some of these things. FSR is great, but I feel like they should have beaten NVIDIA to the punch with something like this. Cinesharp, I was trying to type all that shit. How else are we talking? I don't know. Cap card. It's like, it was an AverMedia card, but I can't remember which. I think it was the Bolt. Yeah, I think it was the Bolt. Let's do where to buy. That way I don't have to scroll through this whole website. Where'd it go? No, that's 4K 30 capture. That is not what I want. Why is it that when I click on something, it takes me everywhere else but where I want to go? Oh my God, just show me the fucking Bolt. Like, thank you. Oh, it's $300. So yeah, the one I'm looking at is $300. Basically because I want to make sure I can get all of the 1440p-ness if I can get that. Even though I have a feeling that it might fuck something up somewhere. But yeah, I am closer than ever. Yes, the 1440p-ness. That's shit. Shut up. I hear it now. Anywho, if you're rolling with an old, wait, hold on. Oh shit. I have the same article. So apparently no new iPhone update came out. Only an old iPhone update came out this week. Yes, if you're rolling with iOS devices that have not updated past iOS 12, there is a new security update out there for you, iOS 12.5.6. Let's see. I think it covers 2 security vulnerabilities that were patched in iOS 15.6.1. So definitely, if you were still rocking an old iOS device, 1, why? 2, please update. And of course, for those who are rocking the Samsung Galaxy S22 line of phones, and if you are not using the One UI 5.0 beta, the 4.1.1 update is available for you too. So update your Samsungs. In deals, the original Mafia is going free on Steam for a limited time to mark the series' 20th anniversary. So if you like to play, the old Mafia, it's available on Steam for free. Go get it. It's free from the 1st until the 5th. Games with Gold is giving out its last Xbox 360 game this month. I got a nice email today that informed me that there will be no more 360 games being released with Games with Gold. So definitely an end of an era. So Portal 2 is coming out in September. There's an Xbox original theme park sim Thrillville that is coming out, and Double Kick Heroes. Yeah, Double Kick Heroes coming out, and Gods Will Fall. So definitely grab those when they are available. And then PlayStation side, they're adding some more games to their monthly games catalog. Need for Speed Heat, Grand Blue Fantasy, was it Grand Blue Fantasy Versus? I can't tell. There's so many. There's this word in red, in brown. I was like, what does that say? And Toem are coming to September monthly games.
Yeah, Toem is a cute game. I've played that.
Oh, they actually have it broken down here. So Need for Speed Heat for the PS4, Grand Blue Fantasy Versus for the PS4, Toem for the PS5. And coming to the game catalog, we've got Deathloop for the PS5, Assassin's Creed Origins for the PS4, Watch Dogs 2 for PS4, Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 for the PS4, Spiritfarer Farewell Edition for the PS4, Chicory, A Colorful Tale for the PS4, Monster Energy Supercross, the official video game 5 for PS4 and PS5, Alex Kidd in Miracle World DX for PS4 and PS5, Rabbids Invasion, the interactive TV show for the PS4, Rayman Legends for the PS4, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World Complete Edition for the PS4. And then there's some more PlayStation Premium classics that are going to be available on September 20th. Siphon Filter 2, The Sly Collection, Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time, Bentley's Hack Pack, Toy Story 3, and Kingdom of Paradise. And don't forget, you have until September 5th to claim Yakuza 7 Like a Dragon, or Yakuza Like a Dragon, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2, the last Tony Hawks you'll probably ever get for a while, Little Nightmares, and Unrailed. You know what? I didn't think about that. Yeah, they need to go. Yeah, that exclusivity with PlayStation has to be over, right? Or is this the one thing that Sony paid for that Microsoft can't do anything about? Because Deathloop should have been on Game Pass by now. I mean, of course, I bought it on Steam because I just had to have that game.
Yeah,
I just had to have it
at some point, but we'll see.
Yeah. I just had to have it, so I own it already, but yes, I know. But to be fair, didn't we just get a whole bunch of ZeniMax games like last week for them to all be Microsoft Studios and publishing now and shit? So I mean, they still got things to drop. And that's a wrap for the show. We've got the kitty. Let's see. Ty has a random thought. Remember when the PS3 had the folding at home client on it and you could contribute your console downtime while connected to the internet to folding proteins? I feel like we should bring that back in some form for consoles. It really helped that project. Most consoles were left on all night anyways.
I remember when they used to do that for like doing medical stuff, and I thought that was really cool. And then we decided that we were just going to make that do crypto instead. I hate
Well, folding did
Yeah.
come back. Well, folding did come back at the beginning of the pandemic when they were all trying to figure out how to sequence COVID. So it did come back for a little bit. I think the issues with that now are with so many people trying to go green and with capitalism trying to say it is up to the individual to fight climate change as opposed to them, the capitalists and their companies that are doing the harm. The storm is getting right to my point. There are things in play to where Microsoft and Sony are saying, hey, how about not keeping your Xbox or PlayStation on? Like Kev, little does he know, has been kind of fighting that same fight too. So, look, when I'm done with my PC, I shut it down. And I've been kind of going back and forth with that too. There have been days when I leave it on because I know I'm going to go play a PC game. And then I'm like, you know what? I'm not playing PC. And I shut it down. And then that's the days I really want to play a PC game. Everybody's like, fuck, there's nothing on my Mac. And because my PC's off, I can't remote play it on the Mac. So fuck.
I'm of the vein of, if I'm awake, PC's awake. If I'm asleep, PC's asleep.
Yeah,
it's his rest too.
I should do that. Honestly, it should be a thing of like, all right, if I'm gonna use my PC, I'm gonna turn it on. If not, I'll just use the Mac. Like I'll leave the Mac running because it does. Like, I have yet to use this Mac Studio to its full potential, which makes me feel bad about buying it now. I really do need to sit down and actually start really using it. I actually thought about editing this podcast on the Mac just so I can use it for something. I'm a terrible person. This is why I'm DoorDash. Anywho, I'm going to step away for a bit. How about either one of you, doesn't matter, share what's going on this week. And I'll be right back.
Nothing, because it's a Labor Day weekend.
Not much. I'm just gonna be relaxing, making some meatloaf. Not maybe I might throw a few things on the Power Smokeless grill, but other than that, I don't even think that's about it for me. Maybe play some ooblets on the low, and trying to figure out something to do something for the Saturday stream. Don't tell nobody. And yeah.
We already know what you're doing for the Saturday stream because your month is full! Exclamation point full. I'm just saying, September the 9th is about to be Dipped Gaming Day.
Yeah, it's like we are full. Like we are full.
Oh, that's when Splatoon comes out.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing about Splat. I might get it, but then again, I might not, because again, I'm full.
See, I will believe Kev was playing Fortnite if he invited me to play Fortnite.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. Okay, two things. Number one,
I will believe you're playing
assume,
Fortnite if you invite me to play Fortnite.
I don't assume that you just want.
Just ask. Every time you plan to play Fortnite, just ping me. Say, hey, Fortnite.
Yeah, again, there might be some times when I play Fortnite that you might not be busy because, sir, you are a husband and a father.
Ping. Remember that perfect week. Remember that perfect week of PC. Remember that perfect week.
If I'm on and streaming, then you could just be like, "Hey, Kev, you need."
But see, that's the thing. Like, it's at night. It's at night. I'm not sitting in front of a computer like that. That's why I don't know.
Yeah, because that's what Ray did.
If you ping me, I will know.
Okay.
So I'm gonna tell you, like
Right,
that
so
perfect
I'm-
week of PC gaming that I did. People pinged me. I was downstairs watching TV. Said, "Hey, want to play some Overwatch?" I was like, "Bet. Give me
Okay.
5 minutes. I'll be
I'm
ready."
Okay,
Ping me.
tomorrow there's a good chance I'll be playing / streaming Fortnite tomorrow.
Win
I'm
tomorrow.
a ping. Well, again, I don't exactly know. Again, I don't exactly know if even I'm going to do it. If I eat after I eat dinner and I look
If
at
it's
my
in the
body and I don't hate myself,
if it's in the
then
evening,
I'm gonna go. Then yeah.
that's all I needed to know.
Yeah,
If it was in the evening
evenings,
after
yeah.
work, dude,
Right.
don't matter.
Yeah, right.
No, I do
'Cause
not
again,
anticipate leaving the house. Ping me. I could be.
Right.
The thing is, I could be sitting right there, and
Good
you say,
chance.
"Hey, Fortnite." I will get up off that couch,
Right.
mosey right onto this chair, and
Right.
we'll be playing Fortnite.
Right. If I don't hate myself after dinner, and I'm like, bet, I'll play. I'll play, and I'll let you know.
Like, there's a
But
good chance I might
outside
even
that-
be here. I may be sitting here playing Destiny too, because y'all did this to me. Y'all did
I
this.
didn't do this.
Y'all did this.
I'm the dissenter.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. No, it's not you.
It's
It's Anka. It's Anka who did this to me.
because I'm like,
Wait, what's that for? Destiny?
yeah. It's like I've been there. I've done that.
Did you have a unfortunate breakup? Is that what happened?
It was more or less like a lot of. It was like more or less a lot of sunsetting, and then running like running that treadmill again. And I
But
just
it's all
was like,
bad.
I wasn't.
It's all bad.
And then I'm like, but then Monster Hunter, like
It's
I'd
all
rather,
bad. And look, you can get the
I'd
epic.
rather have that Monster Hunter. I'd rather have that Monster Hunter vibe. You're not gonna change my mind. But anyway, I'd rather.
Look, if you
I'd
want to
rather
play
have that-
if you want to play Monster Hunter, say the word. I'm back in the black again, baby.
I think Kev is playing Destiny and Fortnite. That part. As soon as I can figure out if I want to get an Ikora skin, definitely.
Look, if
I
you
will
want to
tell
play
you this.
Monster Hunter, just say the word.
I play Rise on PC, so I'm just letting you know.
I have Monday off, so I'm just gonna play tabletop games this Saturday. I might play a game this Sunday, or I'm gonna be in Final Fantasy 11 doing missions, and then I have Monday off. More Final Fantasy Tactics, RPG based game. Monday, more Hollow Knight on Tuesday, and then whatever article you decide to put out, so I can make more cards like these on Wednesday.
Thursday.
We'll see what happens. I don't know what the future holds on Thursday. Hopefully it's a paycheck.
No, I'm doing the shows on Thursday.
I feel like I don't need to I feel like we know where we're going to be on Thursday unless I slide into the DMs and tell you otherwise.
Okay, so let me explain what happened in my brain here for a second. I thought you were saying that the show was going to happen on Wednesday. So I will say, no, the show is on Thursdays.
No, reviewing show notes.
Got
is
you.
On Wednesday.
I think that's what it, yeah. See, I just want to tell you where my brain was. So it was.
No. We appreciate the communication there. That's cool.
Let's see, for me, Zen door dashing sometime this weekend. I don't know. My wife and I have come to an agreement that somebody has to watch the child if somebody's going door dashing. So we have not really figured out what that looks like yet. But because it's a 3-day weekend.
Wait, do you both dash to the doors?
Yes. Some of us can do more than others, so it's like, why not? And again, like for me, it's a Zen thing that also gets me some money in the process. It's something that she's wanted to do because hey, gender pay gap is real, but also I don't know, social workers may get paid less than IT people, which
Generally
hey,
speaking, yes.
Yeah.
Which, I wish that were different though.
yeah. So she's been wanting to try to find extra income, period. So for her, I think DoorDash she's been wanting to do Instacart for a while. But DoorDash was the one that welcomed her with open arms because apparently like Instacart is like, we can't take any more shoppers. But for me, like, I was like, sure, why not? I'll do it too. And then, yeah, ultimately after the first one, I was like, this is actually kind of peaceful. Like, as long as I am not talking to people, I am spending time in the car, just going to and fro. It is actually a very, very peaceful experience. So, yeah, it's a thing of like, somebody has to be home with the kid because, you know, as much as we would think we would be in and out of a restaurant, there are times where like I spent a whole bunch of time in a McDonald's for a chicken sandwich and a small fry. So yeah. Like, so yeah, the weekend, probably a little bit of door dashing, but outside of that, probably some games. I am looking because again, somebody somewhere, possibly in this chat, is looking forward to me streaming Spider-Man. So I am trying to get in a position where I can do that, but things are picking up in all of my other things that happen in the evening. So time is kind of tight, which is great. I enjoy it because again, I'm doing things that I enjoy doing, that I love doing. But yeah, it's keeping me away from streaming, which, you know, hey, as long as my Thursdays are free, I'm good. Of course, like I mentioned on Twitter, hey, I got a raise this week. So I'm really excited. Which actually should have been a what happened as opposed to what's going to happen. What else is going on? Oh, but yeah, speaking of work-related things, I am a part of my, like I mentioned before, I'm a part of the company esports team for Overwatch. So we have practice on Monday. I'm not sure if it's going to be this Monday because of the holiday, but I don't know. We all work from home and it will be late in the evening. So why not practice on a Monday? But yeah, just chilling, playing some games, maybe a stream, maybe not a stream. I don't know. Who gives a shit? I'm just going to be here. But all those, I'll be back here too. I'll be back here next Thursday for some more Tech Talk Thursdays.
Or for testing, at which point he might take the day off.
No, I think I am going to take y'all's advice and just keep this Discord set up because it is the only thing that is working right now relatively decently. I might see if Skype has an update and we'll try it again. But if that fails, then the easy workaround is just to go right back to Discord. I'm sorry, I am catching up on some things. Did BetterHelp perhaps not offer great options or great control over the scheduling? I don't know. Did anybody mention BetterHelp? I'm confused as to what the context for that is. So I've seen a few couples delivering food together. So when my wife went out for her first set of dashes, she actually wanted to do it with me. So we were that couple for her first dash. I'm not sure what she's going to do. She did one dash by herself, but like for a couple of them, we did it together. Killing my food outside the bugs or the cat's going to carry it away before I get to the door. Side note for this podcast, since I don't think we talked about it, fuck USB 4 version 2. That is all. What do you mean? What's wrong with USB 4 version 2? I gotta look that up. Or did you post the link in the Discord? I'll take a look. I know that they were talking about some speed increases, which I kind of like. But yeah, I'm wondering what the issue is. BetterHelp is an online option for licensed social workers. So in terms of side gigs, I thought perhaps you and your wife had looked that over since they'd already be in her line of work. No, we haven't. She actually does do therapy on the side too. But I think, whereas I am the socialist and say, hey, you should just help people regardless of money, she is the one that's like, no, I want to secure as many bags as possible. I want all the money. I I don't know if she knows of BetterHelp and whether or not that will be a better option for her, but I might raise that. I might raise that to her. I know I've been hearing things about BetterHelp that kind of paint it in a negative light for me. But for her, I'm pretty sure she's like, look, if I can just do more things to get more money, she will like definitely just go for it. Oh, you hate the names. Oh, if it's like the technology, then I ain't got no beef. Other side note for future podcasts, AMD announced AM5 this week and will release at the end of the month. So there'll be big tech stuff. Intel also announcing 13th gen at the end of the month as well. We should really get into, I guess, more product launch news and stuff.
No, this is the kind of information that Major lives for, because Major's like, oh wait, I can buy the first one.
No. Because with the AM5 shit, like that's me having to replace a lot of things.
That's Intel at that point.
Yeah, like that, it becomes Intel. So it's like,
Yeah.
Like right. I'm at a point where if the CPU ain't broke, I ain't fixing it.
I'm good with what I got. Thank you, Mary.
Because yeah, it'll take going to AM5, like that's a new CPU, a new motherboard, and possibly new memory. And I'm like, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, I ain't in a big hurry. I'm just gonna sit out with my popcorn and
so at least I can keep my Kraken.
We're gonna look at them benchmarks.
Yeah. At least I can kick my NZXT Kraken if I were to switch, but that's not enough for me to switch.
Yeah, me and Ruin are gonna sit up in the stream on a Wednesday and we're gonna look at them benchmarks and be like, "Ooh,
what
shit!" The benchmarks look like.
Speaking of product announcements, the iPhone event is happening. No, it's not next week, is it? I could have sworn it was September 7th. When is that?
September 7th is the end of next week. Well, the middle of next week. It's next Wednesday.
Okay, yeah, Wednesday, September 7th. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's happening. Just so you know, I'm not covering it. One, because I think I have a call at 2. So I will definitely be like half paying attention to my call and then half watching the Apple event. And before anybody says, yes, Marcus will be buying the new iPhone. It is time for an upgrade, but at least I get to keep my iPhone 12 Pro in the process. So, but it does not change the number of active phones I have. It will still be 3. I'll just have a iPhone 12 that does not have any service until 2 months out, and then I'll find like some track phone SIM to put in there. And then both feet into AM5 upgrade wallet is going to be flat. Can't be me. Can't be me. Yeah. Product news galore coming up. It is now officially, as Marquez Brownlee says, Techtober. So, yeah, there will probably be a lot of product announcement news, things. If that's what brings more people in, if that's what's going to keep Stormcrasher coming back to the show, shout out to Stormcrasher for joining for that follow. If that's what brings Stormcrasher back, we'll bring some product news in. That's what I want to hear. That's the feedback I want to know. What tech do y'all want to hear about? So I can make sure it comes out before it becomes an Apple love fest and also Apple hate fest, because I am that person.
Yep.
But that's it for the show. Thank you everybody for tuning in to another episode of Tech Talk Thursdays for Thursday, September 1st, 2022. Techtober is here. Of course, tune in.
Welcome to the beginning of September.
Yes. Wake me up when September ends. No. Yeah, damn, I forgot the Apple event was Wednesday. I do not know, but I might do a special stream Wednesday night, depending on the schedule, covering all the news that came out from the Apple event.
Yep, which you can only talk about it. But you can't watch it.
That's right. No, look, Ruin. They clapped me on both Twitter. I mean, on Twitch and YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't give me a strike on YouTube because I never made it public. But yeah, they caught me on both.
Yep.
But I can talk about it. I just can't co-stream it.
Yeah.
Yes, they did. It was the most fucking terrifying thing I'd ever seen.
It was wild.
Wait, where did you come from? Never mind how I got into your house. I need you to stop streaming that immediately, sir.
Because remember, they sent me a text message. And the only way Twitch had my phone number was through that verification so I could chat to people on their platform. Which both Tycho and I said, hey, this is not a good look. Why are we doing this? But here we are. Oh, that's because fuck YouTube scans that shit. YouTube scans for that shit. Don't matter if it's live or not. But yeah, so there may be a stream talking about reacting to articles from the Apple event on Wednesday to keep it from being a heavy presence on Tech Talk Thursdays on Thursday. So definitely keep an eye out for that. I will let you guys know if that is happening. But yeah, until then, you all could have been anywhere in the world watching any streaming, or you could have been reading the tech, gaming, and streaming nugs yourself, but you said no. We wanted a bespoke solution to our tech nugs problem, and you found it here on Tech Talk Thursdays. And for that, I appreciate it. Thank you all so much. And of course, all I've got left to say to you for people is I love you. Peace. How?
Wakanda forever.
Have an enjoyable Labor Day weekend.